of the world, even though they claim to be communists, they know who we are. The people in Palestine right now, especially the Zionist regime in Jerusalem, they know who we are. But they will not tell us. Because they remember. What do they remember? Read it.
Verse 10, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them.
They shall what?
Rejoice over them.
Why are they rejoicing? Read it.
And make merry.
And they go make merry.
And shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
We tormented them. Hold on, there's so much going on here. Real quickly, we're going to go back to show you why they're rejoicing. Go to Romans real quick. Why are they rejoicing? The nation, the Chinese are rejoicing. The European powers are rejoicing. The political intellectuals of this world, the Zionists and the Illuminati, they're rejoicing. Why? Let's show you that. Romans chapter 11, verse 11. Let's go to the book of Romans real quick. Chapter 11, verse 11.
Romans chapter 11, verse 11. And he reads, I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall?
Speaking about the Israelites, have we stumbled that we should never come back to our dominion and rulership as a nation? And what is the answer?
Most High forbid.
God forbid. Why?
But rather through their falls.
Because we fell. Because we fell, what happened to the Chinese? What happened to the Caucasians and the whole world, all the Gentile nation? What happened?
Salvation is come upon to the Gentiles.
Why?
For to provoke them to jealousy.
That's why they're rejoicing. Read it.
Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world.
What happened to the Gentiles when we fell?
Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world.
The Wall Street was built on the blood of our people. Like we said before, industrial revolution on the blood of our people. From the 17th, 18th, 19th century, which is new form. When you look at Europe, was built by us. The city of London was built by slavery. America, you know it. The Wall Street was the place they used to auction off our people. The whole land of America was not American Indians' land. Lost 10 tribes, North Central South America. They built their system on our loss and they took over Jerusalem. So that's why I say, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, come on.
And the diminishing of them, the riches of the Gentiles.
The what?
The riches of the Gentiles.
And when you go to the word in the Greek, it's ploto, which means wealth, as in fullness. So they got paid because we fell. And that's why they're passing gifts. As example, did you see what happened in the war going on in the Caspian Sea right now? Ukraine. Immediately they signed they infiltrated that government. They've already spent $5 billion to actually take down the existing government. They'll tell you that they're down for democracy, but they actually go for regime change. The Zionists infiltrated Ukraine and took out so-called democratically elected government and installed their own fake government, or what you call the puppet government. And immediately, because the original president did not want to sign the treaty, so they got him out there. Putin is acting like he's not down with the program. He's down with the program, and immediately John Kerry is taking $1 billion, flying straight down to Ukraine. Why? Because the economy is tanking. They want to consolidate power in Middle East and in Europe. The agenda is really to go into Iran, but to destabilize the whole region. So what you're seeing is that money and global dominion is what they got when we fell. So you think they're looking for us to wake up? No. Read it.
For I speak to you, Gentiles.
No. If the fall of them be the riches of the world, how much more their what?
Their fullness.
When we come to our salvation. So the salvation that the Gentile receive is global dominion. That's why we can find jobs. That's why we can really make ends meet. That's why there's so much poverty. And they intentionally putting their foot on our neck through political strategy, economic strategy, and clandestine project that we don't even pay attention. This is what the Bible is speaking about. So go back to Revelation now and you see why they're rejoicing. They're sending money. What happened when they destroyed Europe? They sent billions of dollars in what they call the rebuilding of Europe. They destroyed Europe after World War I and World War II, and they sent funds to rebuild Europe. What happened to Iraq? When they destroyed Iraq, they sent money to Iraq. Everywhere they take you, what happened to Libya when they took down Gaddafi? They sent money, Hillary Clinton, and they took more money than they actually given.
Yep.
They're paying off people to consolidate power. They're signing treaties and they're giving themselves loans. They're giving themselves money. They're printing money. That's why America has global influence. Continue.
Revelation chapter 11 verse 10. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another.
And shall send what?
Gifts to one to another.
Go ahead.
Because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
Because the two nations, Judah, the northern kingdom of Israel, and the southern kingdom, we took down all these Gentile government when we were ruling. How do you know that? Go back to Isaiah real quick. Isaiah chapter 18 verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 18 verse 1. And it reads, Woe to the land shadowing with wings, which is beyond the river of Ethiopia.
In slave coast of Africa, where our people are still scattered in, where they got the slaves, beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. Come on.
That sendeth ambassadors by the sea, even in vessel of bulrushes, upon the waters, saying, Go, ye swift messengers, to a nation scattered and peeled.
To a nation what?
Scattered and peeled.
We are scattered and torn apart as a nation, and our people in the slave coast of Africa were sending messengers to our people that were still remaining in Jerusalem. Come on.
To a people terrible from their beginning.
Israel is a what?
A people terrible from their beginning. Hitherto.
We were terrible from our beginning. Why? Because the angels fought our battle. We took down all the nations. We took down the Edomites, we took the Caucasians, we took down the Arabs, we took down the Moabites, we took down the Africans, the Egyptians, all the ancient Canaanites. We took down, they were paying tribute to us under King David. We were terrible when we began. It's documented in the book of Joshua how we fought. They don't want to see us come back again. A nation terrible from their beginning hitherto. Come on.
A nation meted out and trodden down.
And now we've been meet out, meaning that we've been torn apart and stepped all over. Amazing. Stop right there. We were terrible from our beginning. And they know that. Why? Because our power, our Alahayim is different. Our Alahayim is superior and he does not tolerate paganism. Their religion will not stand. Buddha will not stand. Krishna will not stand. Muhammad will not stand. When the power of the Ichri Allah, our God, stands, all the gods of the nation falls.
That's right.
Because this is a Star Wars. We were terrible. That's why I see the Old Testament full of blood. So back to Revelation now.
Revelation chapter 11, verse 11 now.
Go ahead.
After 3 days and half, the spirit of life from Alahayim, the Most High, entered into them.
And after 3 days and a half, this is a dispensation of time of a great awakening. The Spirit will enter into us. Come on.
The spirit of life.
The Spirit of what?
Of life.
What is the Spirit of life? Holy Spirit. To inspire us, linking back to Romans chapter 8. There's therefore now no condemnation for them that are in the Mashiach Yahshua. For the law of the Spirit of life has set me free from what?
The law
of sin
and death.
The Spirit of life is the Holy Spirit to inspire the mysteries, to wake us up. Let's show when he's doing that. Go to Ezekiel real quick. Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 1. Let's read there. Yachezikwa Allah. Yachezikwa Allah. Chapter 37, verse 1, real quick. When the Spirit is going to be put back into us. That's what this whole thing is all about.
Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 1, and it reads, the hand of the Most High was upon me, and carried me out in the spirit of Ahiah, and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them around about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live?
Can these bones live? That's Mosiah, Christ, speaking to prophet Yahweh Allah, a Negro prophet. Come on.
And I answered, O Ahiah Alahayim, thou knowest. Again he said unto me, Prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Most High.
Now let's see what he prophesied. Jump down to verse 10.
Verse 10 says, So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived, and stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army.
You're going to find out that the dead people in America that don't know that they're Israel are the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, North American Indians, the Negro slaves in the slave coast of Africa. Our people don't know that they're Israel. We have to declare this prophecy worldwide. We got to prophesy on the four winds as we're teaching. You got to pray on the four corners facing Jerusalem that the Most High will send the spirit of great awakening to wake up our people for the great kingdom to come. So here come the prophet prophesying, something that we're doing, emblematic of what we should be doing in our time, because we are those prophets today. Read it.
11 says, Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel.
These bones are who?
Are the whole house of Israel.
The 12 tribes. We are those people that are actually in America and worldwide walking up and down, not knowing that we're the holy people. Because the curse written in Deuteronomy 28 has been poured out upon us. Come on.
Behold, they say, Our bones are dried, and our hope is lost. We are cut off from our parts.
We say our bones are dry. Our hope is lost. You go talk to our people today, they're hopeless. From ghettos to the villages in Africa, across the world. We are hopeless and we're running in the churches looking for money, looking for handouts, looking for solution. The Most High knows what we're going through. Why? They said what?
Our bones are dried, and our hope is lost. We are cut off from our parts.
Go ahead.
Therefore, prophesy and say unto them, Thus says the Most High Power, Behold, O my people, I will open your graves, and cause you to come out of your graves, and bring you into the land of Israel.
This prophecy has now been fulfilled, brothers and sisters. Letting you know that we are still scattered. The real Jews are waiting to be gathered, us. Read it.
And ye shall know that I am Adonijah, when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you out of your graves, and shall put my spirit in you.
And shall what?
And what shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall
And
live.
you shall live. Come on.
And I shall place you in your own land. Then shall ye know that I, the Most High, have spoken it, and shall perform it, says Ahiah.
So, who are these people in Jerusalem right now? Who are these people now in Jerusalem? The same Romans that destroyed us. The same Romans that took us down in 70 AD. You think they're looking for us to wake up? That's why you saw in Revelation 11, they're going to be destroying us. That's that beast that rose up from the bottomless pit, which is the resurgence or the renaissance of Roman Empire. The renaissance of Rome.
That's the beast of Daniel too.
The beast of Daniel, beast of four, that collapsed and rising, but will ultimately go into perdition. We saw that in previous Sabbaths. Amazing. So now you see, the interesting thing is that this is the conflict. This is the conflict that we must rise up. So back to Revelation 11 and finish that precept.
Revelation 11, verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Elohim entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them.
And why did they stood up? Why did a great fear fell upon the world that saw us? Because when we actually go back to Ezekiel 37,
a great army.
A great army. What verse was there? Ezekiel chapter 37.
Yes. Ezekiel chapter 37.
Verse 8. And I beheld, verse 8, lo, sinews and flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. Then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus says Ahaya Elohim, come from the four winds, O ye breath, and breathe upon the slain, that they might what?
Live.
Because we were destroyed, we were defeated as a nation. We don't even think like we're, from a nationalistic standpoint, according to the true understanding of nationalism in the Holy Scriptures based on bloodline, we don't think as such. They have been totally decimated us. And then verse 10 tells you, so I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath came in unto them, and they lived, and they stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army.
Exceeding great army.
Great army. That's what the earth is terrified. We used to be terrible from the beginning. Imagine what will happen when we receive the supernatural power and put a plague on the earth according to the commandments of the Most High. That's why they're watching our people. COINTELPRO, the FBI agenda, you're talking about all the projects that they have going on right now. CIA, FBI, NSA, they're monitoring us. They're looking for that one person or the few people that can rise up so they can take you down. And our people don't think from a nationalistic standpoint. Amazing. Back to Revelation, right?
Yes. And great fear fell upon them which saw them.
What verse?
Verse 11.
Go ahead.
And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven.
You can stop right there.
In a cloud.
So now, we're going to now touch. So that's one thing. I showed you that three things that I want to keep in mind. The plagues is about bringing Western civilization, which is epitomized by Babylon, the great America. That is the plague. And that's why it's happening. So that the promise, the battery is running low.
I don't even think it's plugged in.
So here we go. So here we go. So here we go. I want us to understand, we have some technical issue here, but that should be plugged in. Is it plugged in? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Let's just continue.
That's good.
Okay. Here we go. I want us to stay focused. This is very important teaching to understand our times. Here we go. So I was making a point that Romans chapter, we saw in Romans that is to bring down Western civilization in comparison to ancient Egypt. This is spiritual Egypt, and the same people are facing the same plight worldwide. And then we saw that the Israelites are going to be given power like Mushi. When you read that in Revelation chapter 11, it tells you that. And now we're going to go to show you why is this happening. This is going to be the key precept. The reason why it's happening is because this is Star Wars. We are in a spiritual war. We are in a spiritual battle globally. This is a spiritual war that we're facing today, brothers and sisters. Let's show you that. Jeremiah chapter 50. Why is Western civilization and the head of it, which is epitomized by Babylon, the great America, going to collapse? Because it was built by the fallen angels from ancient Babylon, the same thing that built ancient Egypt, the same gods, the same spirits that built ancient Babylon, that built every successive global empire, even to Rome and Greece and the Assyrians and the Persians. So let's show you that. Jeremiah chapter 50, 1 to 5, he's coming to fight against their gods, just like he did in ancient Egypt. That's why this teaching is very intense. We're speaking about gods that has taken over the world. Let's prove it. Read it.
Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 1, and he reads, the word that the Most High spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans.
The word that the Most High Ononeluala spoke against who?
Babylon.
Bawolo. That means to mix, mixture, portion. And we saw that it's called the what? The land of the what?
The Chaldeans.
The land of the what?
The Chaldeans.
The Hebrew word of the day, few Sabbaths, was the Chaldea, and we saw that the word Chaldean is what? Koshede or Kosede, which means to cast a spell, and it links directly to Satan. The Kosadite, it links with astrology. It deals with science and technology. It deals with physics and metaphysics. It deals with the scientific experimentation and sorcery in the most enchanting and magnificent, the most exciting and entertaining form that is so attractive that will enchant you, your television. The system was built on sorcery, astrology, chemistry, and that's why he called it the land of the sorcerers, the land of the Chaldean, Koshide. Come on.
By Jeremiah the prophet.
What does he spoke about it?
Declare ye among the nations and publish.
Declare among the nations and put it in the newspapers, put it in your magazines, put it in all your television networks. Let CNN know what?
Set up a standard and publish and conceal not.
Do not hide this information. Come on.
Say,
what does he want it to publish?
Babylon is taken.
The system that's built by Satan is what?
Is taken.
Being taken down. Come on.
Baal is confounded.
Satan links to the Tetragrammaton. Yahweh and Yahweh, Jehovah, Jehovah is what?
Is confounded.
Confounded. Come on.
Merodach is broken in pieces.
Merodach is broken in pieces. That's what the Phoenicians called it. Come on.
Her idols are confounded. Her idols.
Her what?
Her idols.
Her idols are confounded.
Confounded.
Come on.
Her images are broken in pieces.
Her images are broken in pieces. That's a system that is fallen, that was built by Satan from ancient Babylon. How is it fallen? Come on.
For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her.
For out of the north, you're going to find out they're coming from North Korea, China. They're coming from Iran. Out of the north, they're going to be taken by surprise. A nation, come on.
Cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate.
The land after this nuclear, you're going to find this a nuclear destruction by fire.
And none shall dwell therein.
Afterwards, it's going to be uninhabitable. Uninhabitable. Why are all these things happening? Why?
They shall remove, they shall depart.
They shall remove and they shall depart. Come on.
They shall remove, they shall depart.
All the people that are in this land, North America, will ultimately do what?
Remove and shall depart.
And depart.
Both men and beast.
And beast. Come on.
In those days.
When this is happening.
And in that time.
And at that time.
Says Ahiah. The children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah
the
together.
Negroes and in Indians. You see that? The children of Israel, signifying the two nations. The Indian nation and the Negroes will finally be united again, the 12 tribes worldwide, and what will happen?
They shall go and seek the Most High their power.
So the reason for this plague is for us to be united again and brought back as a nation. To seek the Most High once again as a nation. Come on.
Verse 5. They shall ask the way to Zion.
And we're going to be asking the way to what?
To Zion.
Because there's no more hope in this system. There's no more hope in this wicked system that was built by Satan. We're going to be seeking the road to Zion. Come on.
With their faces thitherward, saying, Come, let us join ourselves to the Most High in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. My people had been lost sheep.
My people has been what?
Lost sheep.
Of the house of Israel. They don't know that they're the people of the Bible. That's the gospel. It's about the lost sheep to wake up and will benefit the Gentiles and benefit the world. My people have been lost sheep. Come on.
Their shepherds have caused them to go astray.
Our leaders have misled us.
They have turned them away of the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place.
Stop right there. We don't know who we are. We have forgotten our place of rest. That we are those people. Everywhere you look at the Bible, is speaking about the great awakening. The great awakening. The great awakening. So let's show you that it happened in ancient Egypt. So this is the battle of gods. Why Babylon is fallen is because of their gods. Go to Exodus chapter 12 and read verse 12 to 13 real quick.
Exodus chapter 12 and verse 12 says, there we go.
Exodus chapter 12 verse 12 tells you the same thing happened in ancient Egypt is happening in modern Egypt. Exactly where we are. Let's read it. Because of the gods. It's a war. Egypt was taken down because of the gods. Ra that built Egypt. Same thing is with spiritual Egypt, America. The same God that set up the system why it must fall. Let's read it.
Exodus chapter 12 verse 12, and it reads, for I will pass through the land of Egypt.
The Most High said what?
I will pass through the land of Egypt.
That's the feast of Passover.
This night.
He's going to pass over, which is what? Poka, no pasa, no pasakalo. In Hebrew, no ga pasaka or posaka. He's going to hop over like a frog or like a kangaroo. And whenever the Most High passes over, if you don't have the blood of the lamb, now you see why Christ has to die. The blood of the lamb was in our houses. Now you need to have the blood in your heart. And by keeping his commandment and believing in Christ. So that he can spare you and pass you over. Because the same power that is bringing deliverance and salvation is the same power that's bringing judgment and the plagues. For I will what?
For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night.
Just like in ancient Egypt, he's about to do it again. Come on.
And will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt. Both man and beast.
Both men and what?
And beast.
Just like we saw in Daniel, in Jeremiah, when he goes through Babylon, both men and beast. Come on.
And against all the gods of Egypt.
And against all the what?
All the gods
the
of
what?
Egypt. The gods.
The what?
The gods.
Allahayim. It's a Star Wars, the battle of gods. Our God is fighting against the God of the nations. Fighting for us finally after he finishes punishing us. Allow the nation to destroy us. So these plagues, just like in ancient Egypt, was to bring us out of slavery and put us to rulership. Exact same thing is to gather us and break down the system that has destroyed us and bring us back to rulership. Exact same thing. History repeats itself in a remarkable way. Come on.
And against all the gods of Egypt, I will execute judgment.
So Christ, the reason for the Passover and the plague is to do what? To execute judgment upon the gods of the nations. Think about that. Come on. What verse was there?
This is verse 12.
So that was...
I will execute judgments.
I think we can stop right there.
Okay.
That was Exodus, right?
Exodus chapter 12 verse 12, yes.
Jump down to, read down to 13.
I will execute judgment. I am the Adonai.
I am the sovereign judge. I am the one that brings and strives against their gods. And that's what the word Adonai. When now done Dorondoro, I'm going to strive against them. Go ahead.
And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are.
So the blood, like the blood of the lamb in ancient time, was a token, or the word token we saw in Hebrew is otutu, to show that you belong to him. That you're nagini no otu. That's the Hebrew word. Aye na chineke, aye na haya no otu. Yes. So the blood is a token that you're going to be spared. So you need the blood of Christ and keep his commandments to be spared from the global plagues. Read it.
And when I see the blood, I will pass over you.
When I see the blood, what will happen?
I will pass over you.
I will pass over you. When I see the blood, I will what?
Pass over you.
That's why we're celebrating the Passover, brothers and sisters. Just like today, he's about to pass over Babylon.
Rather than passing through you.
Amazing. So are you prepared for the final Passover? Are you prepared for the final plagues that's about to hit the earth in tremendous, epic fashion? Are you prepared? Read it.
And the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt.
When I spy the land of what?
The land of Egypt.
Ancient Egypt, just like spiritual Egypt, Babylon the Great. Here we go. Jump down to verse 23.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 23. And it reads, For the Most High will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two sides post, the Most High will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in.
I will not suffer the what?
The destroyer.
The what?
The destroyer.
The angels. Letting you know that it was angels that was bringing the plagues. Just like we're going to see the 7 plagues of Revelation, there are angels behind them. Meleka, that are bringing the destruction. We will see that. Pay attention. Come on.
And I will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you. And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever.
For how long?
Forever.
For how long?
Forever.
So why did he say it is forever? Because he's about to do it again. And Christ is about to die. So you need the blood of the Lamb for the final 7 plagues, which is technically equivalent to 10 plagues. Because they're all the same thing. It was only condensed to 10, to 7.
That's right.
But the 7 is actually 10.
That's right.
Or much more. Amazing. He was fighting against the gods of the nation. Let's prove it. Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 31 to 38. Why is Babylon falling? Why would the system collapse? The system will collapse because of what we're about to read right now. Like I already read in Jeremiah already. Jeremiah is going to confirm that. Why is he going to fall and never be inhabited again? Jeremiah
chapter 50 verse 31.
Please.
And it reads, Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, said the most high power of hosts. For thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee. And the most proud shall stumble.
And the most proud shall what?
Shall stumble.
Who is the most arrogant nation? The nation that say they have American idealism, exceptionalism, that is built on philosophy of total liberation from every truth. That goes across the world to conquer. Their government goes around to conquer the whole world. World War I, World War II. They went to drop bomb in Nagasaki, Hiroshima. The Korean War. You see what's going on in Libya, Syria, all the way down. They're all behind all the wars, controlled by the Jewish Zionists, the fake Jews. Who's the same nation that was behind slavery and colonization and the greatest Holocaust of North American Indians? The same system. So now they say they are the most anointed nation, that in God we trust. The people that they're ruling don't understand that Satan is over the upper hierarchy.
That's the Elohim
Satan is the Elohim
that they trust.
And that's why I say the most proud shall stumble and fall. Babylon the Great is fallen. Come on.
And none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all around about him.
Most I say, I will kindle fire in all the cities, like in ancient Egypt, and it's going to devour round about. Come on.
Thus saith the Most High of hosts.
Why is he doing all this stuff?
The children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
The Negroes and the North American Indians were what?
Oppressed together.
The 12 tribes of Israel, the Puerto Ricans, the Mexicans, and the Negroes were what?
They were oppressed together.
Our people in the natives in Australia, the indigenous, the poor people that you see suffering worldwide, they were what?
Oppressed together.
Oppressed together. The Negroes on the slave coast of Africa were what?
Oppressed together.
That's why it's happening. Like in ancient Egypt. It's all going down because of our people. Like in ancient Egypt. Exact same parallel. Come on.
Hold on, where was I? This thing cut out.
Verse 33.
Verse 33.
Say, thus says Adonijah Nsoba, that's the Most High of hosts.
The children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captive held them fast. They refused to let them go.
They refused to what?
To let them go.
What was the message to Mushi, to the pharaohs?
Let my
people go. Same thing today. This is a future prophecy that has now been fulfilled. Why Babylon is falling. Amazing. Letting you know that we are held up in this system. Because our people that are migrating to America here, we don't have jobs at home in the slave coast of Africa. Why? They've exploited the government. So there's this massive brain drain of people coming to the Babylon the Great. Just like in Cuba. Just like in Mexico. The Mexicans are trying to leave Mexico to come to America for better life. Why can't you be at home over there? Because they have exploited your government. And everybody's coming to this system, now understanding that there's going to light up fire in this system. Amazing. We were oppressed together, and they will not let us go. The slaves are still here since emancipation, but they will not let the slaves know that they're the children of Israel. They infiltrated the school systems and infiltrated the movie. Look at the movie Noah. You won't even know that we're the children of Israel looking at all their movies.
No.
Deception everywhere, and they still call themselves what? Christians. The reason why it's going down is for our people to know that you've been colonized and enslaved. You gotta wake up. Read that again, please.
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33. Thus said the Most High of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captive held them fast. They refused to let them go.
They refused to let us what?
Go.
Letting you know that we are held captives. Come on.
Their Redeemer is strong. Adonijah of hosts is his name.
The sovereign judge is his name. Come on.
He shall thoroughly plead their cause.
Ooh!
That he may give rest to the land.
Please read that verse again. This is why the plague are happening. The Most High, Oronelu, is pleading our cause. And that's why the word Adonijah, the Lord means a sovereign one that strives. Adonijah Nsoba. He's the one that pleads our cause. Read it.
Their Redeemer is strong. The Adonijah of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon.
And disquiet the what?
The inhabitants of Babylon.
You're going to put confusion in Babylon. Come on.
A sword is upon the Chaldeans,
Ooh.
said Adonijah.
A sword is coming to system that has oppressed, that has built on sorcery. Come on, oppressive system.
And upon the inhabitants of Babylon.
And all the people that are in this system, a sword is coming. Come on.
And upon her princes. And upon her wise men.
Upon her intellectuals that you see on Science Channel. The intellectuals, the prognosticators that you see on CNN, and the economic and political pundits and forecasters. A plague is coming upon them. Come on.
A sword is upon the liars.
Upon the what?
Upon the liars.
The Most High call them what?
Upon the liars.
They have lied about history, have lied about technology and science. They have lied about religion, the truth of Christ. They have lied about everything. They have lied about the truth, about the holy people. They have lied about the creation of the world. Say we came through evolution. They have lied about everything. They have lied about the true people of God. The true Israelites, and say that we're not the chosen people, that they are now the chosen people. The Bible calls them the land of liars. You watching CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ESPN, they're all lying. Come on.
A sword is upon the liars, and they shall dot. A sword is upon her mighty men.
Her military. If you have children in the military, understand that they're going to go down. Take your children out of the military, out of the Navy, because the system is about to go down. Come on.
And they shall be dismayed. A sword is upon their horses and upon their chariots.
You're talking about their scientific technology. The horses are missiles here. In Revelation, it tells you there the horses are horsepower, horse speed. They're actually destroyed in tremendous munitions. The missile system is going to collapse. They're not even going to release one missile when the war hits. No one single missile will leave Babylon because the missile will crush it. That's what he said. Come on.
A sword is upon their chariots and upon all the mingled people.
And upon all the what?
All the mingled people.
This is where people get to mingle together. And the word mingle means Babylon. So you know what he's speaking about. A nation that is mingled with different races of the earth. They have changed the original genes of the earth and mingled everything. It all goes down. They're partying, nightclubs, movie, the bolé. They love good times. The sword is destined to come. Come on.
Upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her, and they shall become as women. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. A drought is upon her waters.
A drought is upon her what?
Waters.
Upon her water, the water systems. Come on.
And they shall be dried up. For it is the land of graven images.
For it is the land of what?
Graven images.
Graven images. Like we told you. The gods, the whole city of Washington was built by fallen angels, by the Freemasons. The whole architecture of America, the whole city, DC, was built to glorify Satan. You see the images of all the Greek gods, the Parthians, right there, across the major cities of all the cosmopolitan cities. That's why they call themselves the intellectuals, the Bilderbergers, the Illuminists. Why the system is going to come to a screeching halt to liberate the holy people. What verse?
Verse 38.
Read it. Read that again.
For it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols.
And people are crazy here, worshiping idols without knowing it. Looking at your movie stars. Look at every single Hollywood movie that is coming out. Look at all your toys that is out here. Look at the clothing line. Look at the t-shirts. Look at Exxon Mobil gas station, all the corporate logos. Look at your Nike. Nike is a god, is actually a pagan god from Greeks and Rome, the god of victory. I mean, everything was built on paganism. You tell me one single product that you can pick up that is not built. McDonald's to all your food chains. A system that is built to glorify Satan. Look at your dollar bill with the same Egyptian head. Look at, your stock market. The bull, when the market is running, leads to the Jabulon, which is Satan. The whole system was built to glorify Satan. People just don't see these things. Amazing. It is a place built of graven images. That was verse 38, right? Read verse 39 and 42.
Therefore, the wild beast of the desert with the wild beast of the islands.
Verse 39.
Verse 39.
Okay.
Shall dwell there, and the owls shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever.
So after this great destruction, the plague, it shall be what?
No more inhabited.
No more inhabited.
Forever. In forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. As the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
The same way, now you see why it's called Sodom and Gomorrah. The same way you overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, come on.
And the neighboring cities thereof, said Ahiah, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. Behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, upon one put in array, like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon.
Old daughter of what?
Of Babylon.
Letting you know that he's not speaking about ancient Babylon. He's speaking about
Future
the
Babylon.
daughter, future Babylon, that came out of ancient Babylon, the same spirit that became what? Babylon
The great.
American civilization, Western civilization, epitomized by American hegemon. That's what we're confronted with, brothers and sisters.
43.
Stop right there.
Okay.
So, I just laid the foundation for this teaching real quick to introduce it. So now let's look at the plagues. Go to Job chapter 38, verse 1 to 4. This is the foundation. We just showed you why the plagues is coming. We parallel that and compare that to ancient Egypt, why ancient Egypt fell. The same gods of Egyptian, they were practicing homosexuality in Egypt. They were all kinds of idolatry. Our people was even calling on Ra. We were calling on Yahweh, just like today we're still calling on Jehovah and Ra and Yahweh without even knowing it. We are exact same condition, just like previous Egypt. Hence, there's a need for Passover. Hence, there's a need for leavened bread. Hence, there's a need for the plagues. Same history repeats itself in a glorious manner. So now let's look at it. Let's introduce the plague. Job chapter 38, verse 1 to 4.
Job chapter 38, verse 1. Then the Most High answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, Who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge?
Who is this that's speaking words without knowledge, that's hiding wisdom and saying things that he does not understand? This is the Most High speaking, coming to, because Job has said some profound things in his suffering and anguish. Watch this, read it.
Guard up now thy loins like a man,
brace yourself like a man.
for I will demand of thee,
I'm going to ask you some questions,
and answer thou me.
and you're going to answer me. So he's about to pose some questions to Brother Job. Let's read it.
Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare, if thou hast understanding. Who had laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest? Or what hath stretched the line upon it?
And who has what?
Or who has stretched the line upon it?
The measuring lines. Who stretched the measuring line upon it? The Most High is speaking. Amazing. What verse?
Verse 6 now.
Stop right there. So we know who's speaking here. Jump down to verse 12 to 23.
Verse 12 says, Hast thou commanded the morning since thy days, and caused the day spring to know his place? That it may take hold of the ends of the earth, that the wicked might be shaken out of it?
Think about it. The earth has two edges. He's asking Job a deep question. This is the earth right here. I say, can you grab it on the two edges and shake it, the earth, and turn it upside down so you can shake off the wicked? Because this is what the plagues are about to do. The plagues is about to shake up the earth. You're going to grab the earth on the side and shake it up so that you can shake off the wicked. And that's what the plagues is about to do, brothers and sisters. Read that verse again.
Verse 12. Job chapter 38, verse 12. Hast thou commanded the morning since thy days, and caused the day spring to know his place, that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, that the wicked might be shaken out of it?
That the wicked might be what?
Shaken out of it.
Come on.
It is turned as clay to the seal, and they stand as a garment. And from the wicked their light is withholden, and the high arm shall be broken.
Broken to pieces. The Most High is about to break the arm of the wicked. That's what it's about to do, to bring a righteous kingdom, a righteous generation, a righteous civilization once again. He's going to withhold the light of the wicked, and you're going to see that one of the plagues is darkness that's coming here. Read it.
Hast thou entered into the springs of the sea?
Come on.
Or hast thou walked in the search of the deep?
There are places in the earth that you haven't even visited yet. It's all documented in the book of Kanoke, which is Enoch or Enoch. Come on.
Have the gates of death been opened unto thee?
Has the gates of death been shown to you?
Or hast thou seen the doors of the shadow of death?
Do you even know where the places when they die, where they go, the entrance, where when your soul, when you die, where it actually enters into? That's the question that people don't know. The place they call Chowalo. When they're looking for you in this earth, where do you go? Chowalo. Indiana Chacho, which is they call in English Sheol. Come on.
Hast thou perceived the breadth of the earth? Declare if thou knowest all this.
Tell me if you understand this thing, how I set it up. Come on.
Where is the way where light dwelleth?
Do you know where I allow light to proceed from, the source of all light?
And as for darkness, where is the place thereof?
Where does darkness come from? I control all these things. Come on.
That thou shouldest take it to the bound thereof, and that thou shouldest know the paths to the house thereof.
What verse?
Verse 21 now.
Go ahead.
Knowest thou it because thou wast then born, or because the number of thy days is great?
Come on.
Hast thou entered into the treasures of the snow?
Listen to that. Have you entered into the treasures? The Most High has a place where he actually puts snow and restores them. It's all in the book of Kanoke. Do you know where I reserve snow? Read it.
Or hast thou seen the treasures of the hail?
There's a place where he actually allows hail. You're going to see that one of the plagues is hail that is coming through here. Do you know where they come from? The place where I store hail. Come on.
Which I have reserved against the time of trouble, against the day of battle.
These
and
things
war.
are reserved for the day of battle and what?
And war.
And war. The days of plague. He's warring for the nation of Israel to bring a righteous government. He's asking these questions. That's what the plagues are all about. So let's begin to break it down. Let's precept that with before we go into it, let's go to second book of Baruch. This is significant. We have the second book of Baruch. I want to read from that book to introduce the 7 plagues. You're going to see that the plagues that we're about to break down and make a comparative analysis, the Most High is a warrior. That's why Mushi said it in the songs of Moses. He said the Most High is a man of war. The Most High is his name. So let's introduce it now. When you go to the book of Baruch, which we call Baruch in English, he's the same one, son of Neriah, brother of Jeremiah. I mean, he was actually prophet at the time, a companion, if you will, with him, Baruch or Baruch. And we're going to pick it up from verse
26 to 30.
26 to 30. He's going to begin to introduce the plagues. Let's read it.
It's titled The 12 Woes That Are to Come Upon the Earth.
These are the 12 woes that's about to come upon the earth. And again, this teaching, there's much to be researched on this. This is not a teaching to be taken lightly. You got to study this thing very meticulously. Even I approach this I approach this teaching with tremendous caution because I'm continuing to study this thing. Now, and I have a feeling that these 12 woes is telltale of our time, leading to the final 7 plagues. Let's read it.
Number 1 says, And he answered and said unto me, In 12 parts is that time divided, and each one of them is reserved.
Can you go to where he talked about it from the beginning?
Okay.
Right there. Yes, right there.
Okay, so this is where it says signs of the coming of judgment. Judgment.
The signs of the coming judgment. Let's read it. This is give him the book, chapter, and verse. They're looking for it.
Okay, so it's Baruch, 2nd Baruch, chapter 25 to 26.
Let's read it. The signs of the coming judgment. Go ahead.
And he answered and said unto me, You too shall be preserved till that time, till that sign which the Most High will work for the inhabitants of the earth in the end of days.
In the what?
In the end of days.
These are the signs of time for the end of days leading to Christ's coming. Read it.
This therefore shall be the sign when a stupor shall seize the inhabitants of the earth.
When a what?
A stupor.
A what?
A stupor.
The earth is stolen by Satan, and his agents, his fallen angels, and his government powers. We are stolen. We are enslaved. That's why we can find jobs. That's why your economy is collapsing. That's why we're divided politically, economically, socially. That's why even all the nations are divided. The earth is hijacked. Come on.
This therefore shall be the sign, when a stupor shall seize the inhabitants of the earth, and they shall fall into many tribulations. And again, when they shall fall into great torments, and it will come to pass, when they say in their thoughts, by reason of their much tribulation, the mighty one doth no longer remember the earth. Yes, it will come to pass when they abandon hope, that the time will then awake.
See there? So a time of hopelessness is coming. A time evil and immorality is already filling the earth to the point of despair and utter hopelessness. And people are going to be saying there's no God, there's no Alahayim. Read it.
And I answered and said, will that tribulation which is to be continue a long time? And will that necessity embrace many years?
Is it going to be a long time, or is it going to be for many years? He's asking for duration of the tribulation. Come on.
And he answered and said unto me, in 12 parts is that time divided.
They are divided in 12 parts that we're about to go into a time of tribulation. Read it.
And each one of them is reserved for that which is appointed for it. In the first part there shall be the beginning of the commotions.
The beginning of commotions in the earth.
And in the second part there shall be slaying of the great ones.
All the powerful people are going to begin to kill, and that's what they're going to be a roundup of people. It's already happening.
And in the third part, the fall of many by death. And in the fourth part, the sending of sword.
The sending of what?
Of sword.
War, global war. Come on.
And in the fifth part, famine and the withholding of rain.
The economic collapse of the system, and people are going to be looking for food. Go ahead.
And in the sixth part, earthquakes and terrors.
Was there?
Earthquakes and terror.
We already seen that happening. I have earthquake report that we might even pull today in some of the research that we put together. Go ahead.
Wanting, and in the eighth part, a multitude of specters and attacks on the shedding.
That's demonic spirit attacking people worldwide. Go ahead.
And in the ninth part, the fall of fire. And in the 10th part, raping and much oppression.
And much what?
Oppression
is going to continue to increase. So the earth that we're living in is going to change tremendously. So it's already happening. Go ahead.
And in the 11th part, wickedness and unchastity.
Exactly what I said.
And in the 12th part.
Now pay attention to the 12 parts. This is key right here. That's why I came here. Because it's significant to the 7 plagues. It's going to lead into the 7 plagues. Read it.
And in the 12th part, confusion from the mingling mingled one with another.
From the mingling of one with another.
And minister one to another.
And minister one to another. So you're going to have the 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 11. And they're all going to be happening at the same time. This one will start. Massive death will start. And then total commotion. And then you're going to have evil and wickedness. Then you have people being assassinated by the globalists. All these things are all going to be mingled together. One will pick up. So you're not going to know. People are not going to be aware of how these things are happening. Come on.
For some shall leave out some of their own and receive in its stead from others.
See there? So some can start like there a lot of massive people dying because of lack of food and war. Like you see all the global war raging. There you might see some of the 11 signs going to be happening. These are the signs of Christ's second coming. Read it.
And some complete their own and that of others.
Go ahead.
So that those many not understand who are upon the earth in those days, that this is the consummation of the time.
So many people who do not have understanding, like you see in war in the Middle East, war in Ukraine, war in Syria, war in Libya, war in Iraq, war in North Korea. I mean, look at the whole globe. But people do not know that these are the signs of our time because they don't understand. They're not paying attention. Because when you listen to CNN, you are totally deceived. You got to look at the scriptures of the Holy Scriptures to know the signs of our time. Read it.
Nevertheless, whosoever understands shall then be wise.
Whosoever understands shall be what?
Shall then be wise.
So stop right there. Let's now go to the plagues now. Revelations chapter 14 verse 4. The book of Revelation chapter 14 verse 4. This is a comparative analysis. Let's get into the plagues. Revelation 14 verse 4. Verse 14 verse 14. Sorry, read it.
Revelation chapter 14
Verse 14.
14, and he says, "And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle."
A sharp what?
A sharp sickle.
We've seen this thing before. The sharp sickle is for harvesting. We've had a teaching on the harvesting of the Israelites and of the earth. Read it.
"And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe."
The harvest of the earth is what?
It's ripe.
We saw in Revelation, in Isaiah chapter 18, the Most High say, I will sit for the perfect time when the dew is right, when the bud is perfect. He's going to cut the earth and harvest with pruning hooks. And that's what's meaning the time of tribulation and the time of harvesting of the earth. That's what we're going into. Read it.
Verse 16, "And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped."
And the earth was what?
Was reaped.
The earth was reaped. The Most High is reaping the righteous out of the wicked, to shake out the wicked from the earth. Read it.
"And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the altar which had power over fire."
Which has power over what?
Over fire.
And we're going to teach the function of the angels. Angels are, like we saw, the angels are bringing the plagues. This angel over power over fire, as you know, is Ore Allah. Ore Allah, which is in English is Uriel. That's an Igbo. All the angels are all Igbos, or Hebrews are people, named by our language. The angel of fire, read it.
"And cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe." And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of Allahayim.
Or the what?
Of the wrath of Allahayim.
The winepress, that's when he's breaking the earth. His winepress, when he's stepping on us, when he's stepping on the earth. Come on.
Verse 20. "And the winepress was trodden without the city."
And the winepress was what?
Trodden without the city.
The city of Jerusalem. That's what you do there, where you lay waste things, like Christ was crucified outside of the city. Go ahead.
"And blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse bridle, by the space of 1,600 furlongs."
A dispensation of time when it will happen. Jump down to chapter 15, verse 1. Continue, chapter 15, verse 1.
Revelation chapter 15, verse 1. "And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels, having the 7 last plagues."
And I saw another sign in the heaven, great and marvelous. 7 angels having the 7 last plagues. The time of harvesting, where we are. This is what we're going into. Letting you know that the Passover still stands. Because for you to have a plague, it means a Passover. That means there must be a sacrifice. Christ has become our sacrifice. The Messiah is our sacrifice. And now we need to have his blood in our hearts to be spared in this global outpouring of the winepress of the wrath of Anonelu Allah, the Most High. Read it.
"For in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast."
And them that has gotten the what?
The victory over the beast.
The victory over the what?
The beast.
The what?
The beast.
The beast is a government, empire, civilization, You must overcome this system. Spiritual battle. We're going to prove that. Read that again. Them that have gotten victory over the beast, continue.
And over his image.
And over his what?
Image.
Come on.
And over his mark. And over the number of his name.
Stop right there now. Pay attention. This is very, very important. I need to highlight this. Three key things that I want to mention is that the beast, which we know is a government, which is Western civilization, America is epitomized of that, where she impacts the world from here, has three things that we need to know. The beast has an image. The image of the beast, I want to show you what the image of the beast is. And it links to her ideologies and philosophies and the lifestyle of the Babylonian civil system. How they live here. That's the image of the beast. We'll show you then. She also there's a mark of the beast. We're going to show you the chips. We have article that we might touch base to show you that the mark of the beast is already a law in Babylon. And you will receive it if you don't have the knowledge of the Most High in your mind. We'll show you that. And then there's a number of the beast. So let me emphasize that. I need to emphasize that. I need to emphasize that. You're talking about the beast. We know the beast represents governments, empires, and entities. So you have the first one is what? The first one is the image of the beast. You have the image of the beast. Then you have the mark, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of the beast. The civilization. And then you also have the what? The number.
Number of his name.
Number of the beast, or of his name. Now, we're going to show the beast is a civilization, government that is controlling the world, which is Babylonian system. The mark is D. And then the number, as you know, links to what? The number of the beast, as we know, is what? This is the Hebrew letter for 6. This is Hebrew letter. This is the number of the beast. Do you see that drink? That drink that you have that called Monster, that has a green sign, it has this logo on it, which actually in Hebrew letter, this is the sixth letter in Hebrew, which is, the sixth letter is called Wa, which is this is the word for Wa, and this is how it's actually you have A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, which is the sixth letter. So you have Wa is W, 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 which is 666. This is the number of the beast. In the Hebrew letter, this is how I write it. In English letter, this is how you write it. In English letter, right here, letting you know that www.yahoo.com Yahoo is a mark of the beast. You're going to find out that it links, and this is Yah, as you know, that links to the YHWH, which is the tetragrammaton, that links back to the name of the beast, and links back to the number, which is the technology of the beast. The technology, and Yah links to Jehovah, or Yahweh, which links back to Satan. So what you're seeing is you have the number, the mark, but now this right here, the number of the beast, links back to the binary computer language. It links back to the technology. Remember, in ancient Babylon, the ancient Babylonian systems was destroyed because they were getting everybody to worship the devil, and the Most High split the language. So now with www, which links back to 666, and they're using binary technology, computer language, and coding structure to unify everybody today and bring us all back to under the one worship. So now you can speak any language. You have Google Google Translate, you can translate pretty much any language just like that. This is amazing. So this is the things that I want you to keep in mind, and that we are all in that system. We are all being influenced. In everything we do, it's a system of the devil. So now, I want to make sure you understand these contentions and these dynamics. So here we go, and let's prove it down. So we're going to go to the book of Romans now to show that. The book of Romans. Let's go to Romans. Where did you stop?
This is from verse 3. We stopped.
Revelation chapter 14, verse what?
That's chapter 15, right?
15.
Revelation chapter 15, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Revelation chapter 13, verse 14 and 18.
Revelation chapter...
Hold on one second. We saw Revelation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 14 to 20. Did we read that?
No.
Yeah, we read that already, yes. The harvesting. So Revelation chapter 15, 1 to 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's read 1 to 8 real quick.
Okay, Revelation chapter 15, right?
Yes.
From verse 1 says, "And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High. And I saw, as it were written, as it were a sea of glass, mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast and over his image."
So stop right there. Let's show you the why this is very, very important. Go to the book of Romans real quick. Romans, there's a people that has get a victory over the image of the beast. So let's show you what the image of the beast, to tie it all together. That's where I wanted to go. Romans is important to understand prophecy. Romans chapter 11, verse 1. Pay attention.
Romans chapter 11, verse 1. "I say then, had the Most High cast away his people?"
Has the Heavenly Father, Ononeluala, rejected his chosen people that he scattered for being disobedient to him? The 12 tribes of Israel, the Negroes, the Mexicans, the so-called African Americans, the Puerto Ricans, the Native Americans. What is the answer?
Most High forbid.
Never. Come on.
"For I also, I am an Israelite, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. The Most High had not cast away his people, which he foreknew. Wot ye not what the scripture said to Elijah? How he maketh intercession to the Most High against Israel, saying..."
Listen to what he's quoting from the book of Elijah, that's an Igbo name, Igbo prophet. In ancient times, the book of 2 Kings, what happened in that time when he was making intercession of the Most High? What was he grappling with? Come on.
"Master, they have killed thy prophets, and dig down thine altars, and I am left alone.
They have killed thy prophets and dig down thy altars.
And I am left alone.
He's the only one that truly was worshiping the Most High. Come on.
And they seek my life.
And they're looking to kill him. You're going to find out that the true prophets in our time, they're going to look to kill you and eradicate you because you're speaking something against the grain. They're going to try, the devil and his minions are going to try to get rid of you, all of us, like we saw in Revelation 11. Come on.
Verse 4. "But what said the answer of the Most High unto him?"
What said the response of the Creator to prophet Elijah, an Igbo prophet, a Negro? What was the answer?
"I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal."
To the what?
To the image of Baal.
To the what?
To the image of Baal.
The image of Baal is the image of the beast. So even in our time, there's a people in that time, because he was fighting against the prophets of Baal. Why? Now, why is that the image of Baal? Because when you link back to the Tetragrammaton, the God that is being glorified in this earth is Yahweh, Jehovah, Jesus, which is the links to the Tetragrammaton, which is Yah, Yahweh, Yahweh, or Ya'owo, Oyowo, the Onyaro, evil one. And the image of Baal is Yahweh. Our people were calling it back then. Even when we're coming out of Egyptian, the God that we called unto when we made the golden calf was also what? Yahweh, which is Baal. Baal worship. And that's what we saw in Jeremiah chapter 15 when the Most High said, Baal is confounded in Babylon. But they've given you the name in your Christian churches. You don't know that you're calling on Satan. So they were fighting back then against prophets, were fighting against the same spirits. Listen to what he says next. Continue to read.
Even so then, at this time.
Even so then, at this present time, what will happen?
Also, there is a remnant, according to election of grace,
that will reject the image of beast, which is the image of Baal. There's a remnant,
according to election of grace,
according to election of grace, that will reject the image of the beast, which is the image of Baal. Her lifestyle, her philosophy, her ideologies. So the image of the beast links back to the image of Baal. The image of the beast links back to the image of Baal. Same thing, because Baal is Yahweh. And the whole world is calling on her, which is Satan himself. He has a lifestyle, he has television, he has the enchantment, he has the sophisticated lifestyle, he's controlling the spending system, he's controlling the industrial financial complex. And that's why it's so hard to tell our people that this system is falling. It's so hard for them. They control religion. Now you see who they're calling in your churches today. Now you can understand what's really going on. It's profound. So there's a remnant of our people that will reject this lifestyle of total apostasy and evil and sinful nature that has been inspired by Western civilization. Her clothing line, her music industry, her religious worship, the names of gods that they're calling, the business strategy, the political solution and strategies, everything is being engineered. This is an engineered society. The Bible is speaking some strong words. Amazing. So now, back to Revelation where you were reading. Chapter 15, verse 12, verse 2.
Revelation chapter 15, verse 2. And it reads, And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark.
You see there?
And over the number of his name.
And over the number of his name. I mean, I want to go through this teaching. I have a document here, some articles that I want to take a look at with the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is here already, which is spoken about in Revelation chapter 14, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go to Revelation chapter 13, verse 14 and 15. Revelation chapter 13, verse 14 and 18. Because the mark of the beast is already here. We're going to pull that, maybe we're going to read the article. So we can actually show that we got to get a victory over this mark. It's so hard to convey that to our people. Read it.
Revelation chapter 13, verse 14. And deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast.
That they should make a what?
An image to the beast.
Go ahead.
Which had the wound by a sword and did live.
That's Roman Empire, which is a Western civilization now. It survived. Western civilization, Rome survived as America.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
To reinvigorate Roman Empire that was, they worship Zeus. Zeus links back to Babylonian deity of Nimrod and Semiramis. Go ahead.
That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
That's the lifestyle. See that? You gotta be down with their lifestyle, down with the philosophies and the belief system, just like in ancient Egypt. Our people were worshiping Ra and Yahweh in ancient Egypt. So once the Mosai leaves for a moment, we called Aaron to make us a graven image and called it Yahweh, which is Baal. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
The badge of servitude, to walk. So when you're walking, pay attention that you're not being used. Today they make you to get what you call clearance, what you call security clearance. If you have a security clearance, they're doing background check, they're doing fingerprinting, so that you can be on the in group. You gotta be careful, because very soon you're already in their system, and you cannot avoid nothing, because they're making people that are loyal to their system. But things are going to happen very soon where you're going to have to choose between getting the mark of the beast and being down with the system, their economy, their political systems, their job system, compared to being the system of the Most High. You will suffer. It will be difficult. But how much more those people that can't even go through no difficulty because they're thinking that this is good? They already got the mark of the beast in their mind. The mark of the beast and the image of the beast is so dynamic, because if you're already believing in her philosophies, not understanding who the Israelites are, when the mark comes, you think that the system is good, you're going to embrace it, and you're going to receive the mark. Many people already have the mark of the beast in their mind.
That's right. That's right.
And that's what we're dealing with. The mark of the beast is in all your movies. It's everywhere. It's in the lifestyle. The righteous people have to. That's why the unleavened bread it shows you that you have to remove evil from yourself and allow yourself to go through change for you to be harvested, for the Most High to pass over you. Read it.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
You're not going to be able to buy, because you're going to be in the electronic system, the electronic grid. You're not going to be able to buy or sell, get a job. So these are the tough decisions that we're going to have to make very soon. It's already happening. And it's prophesied, it's going down. What are you going to do about it? Come on.
Here is wisdom. Let him that had understanding count the number of the beast.
The number of the civilization is what?
For it is the number of a man.
What is it?
And his number is 666.
W. Is a binary system. That's essentially the system that your fingerprinting system is built in. Your computer systems are built. And we all in it already. We are all already in the system. You're not going to avoid it except if you have the testimony of, this is where you know who the true believers. Where you much rather die than to receive the mark of the beast. This is what we're confronted with, brothers and sisters. Amazing. So let's read that article now that talks about, I think it was, you want to play that video?
Sure.
The video with our vice president telling you that that we're going to be making a decision to receive the mark of the beast, which is a microchipping. We're going to make a decision soon. We're already in the system. That's what Obamacare is all about.
All right, here it is.
Okay. Can you open it up big and play that real quick? Can you turn up the volume?
That's the highest.
Okay. I wish we could hear this, but many of you are probably not going to be able to hear it.
Thinking.
let you pull it off of this one and then play it. So that
No,
people, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm trying to play this video. I don't know. We can just listen to he at least, but we can tell him what he's saying.
nah, I was thinking. There we go. That's weird.
Well, let's read the article.
Yeah.
Let's read the article. This is your vice president speaking about it. This is actually called from. This is a breaking deception, the scientific creation of human-powered battery for the RFID chip, implantable chip, the mark of the beast. 666. Again, I told you this is technology. Just move it by the side so that you're not obstructing the people. Okay.
Okay. And it says here, you want me to read the Revelation quote?
Yes. No, start from here. Yes. A team
of U.S. and Chinese researchers have revealed a 10th implantable battery that they have used to power a pacemaker. It converts the constant movement of organs such as the heart, lungs, and diaphragm into energy. The thin, flexible mechanical energy harvester has been tested on cows and found to produce enough power to run a pacemaker.
So this is a self-sustained, mechanics that can actually power by itself within any living being's body. Go ahead.
It is the future, they say. It could be used to power a range of gadgets. The tiny piezoelectric power plants are comprised of lead zinconate, tinctate carbon.
This is a nanotechnology as well, which is a more than minuscule, minor level. Look at this thing right here. How little the chip can be. Amazing. And you have your Vice President Biden, even before Obama was elected, saying that he will make a decision. He's already made that decision because he put it in Obamacare, where we are already in the system and in the grid. That's the video that I wanted to play. But continue to read.
And it says, it is the future, they say. It could be used to power a range of gadgets. The tiny piezoelectric power plants are comprised of lead zinconate, tinctate nanocarbons, housed in biocompatible plastic. How it works. The small strip converts the constant movement of organ, such as the heart, lungs, and diaphragm, into energy. The tiny piezoelectric power plants are comprised of lead zinconate, titanic nanocarbons, housed in biocompatible plastic.
So the movements of all your organs creates the energy to power itself, and it's a lead zinconate that can be in your body. Amazing. Go ahead.
There's also an integrated rectifier that converts the electric signals and a tiny rechargeable battery. It's all encased in the same plastic. To produce more power, multiply units could be placed on an organ. The team believe, and then he quotes here: heart rate monitors, pacemaker, cardio converters,
And
defibrillators, and neural stimulators constitute broad classes of electronic implants that rely on battery power to operation. The team, wrote. So
now, the system is already here, brothers and sisters, and it's already law. And they're going through beta testing or beta testing before you actually begin to mandate people. And they won't even mandate it. You're gonna receive it because for you to function, you're gonna have to be in their system, so they can track all of us. This is what we're facing, brothers, and it links back to being, and everything's gonna be able to pass through an internet system. So you saw this system that Obama is setting up so you can actually go apply for your health care. And our people are so shaken because, well, we need health insurance. We need food. We need them. Well, hold on a minute. The Most High said to be careful for this beast. Before you go jump in and sign up for something, you need to know what the Holy Scripture said about it. I gotta protect my children, or you're trusting the system. How do you know that you're not dealing with the beast system? Because you have to check the scriptures, and if you do, your vice president and the elite that set up the system tell you that you're gonna receive it. 2 billion people in India has already been set up for that system right now. And China, I think it's a $2 billion project. I think they're both spending $2 to $4 billions of dollars to actually fund the microchipping project in India, because India is very, very technical savvy. That's where all the works go right now. So India is already taking the lead. And they're coming to Africa. They're going to make us all in an electronic system controlled by WWW, which is Satan himself. What are you going to do? Are you going to reject the mark, or are you going to embrace the mark just because you want to eat? Could you learn how to trust the Most High for our provision? The plagues that bring in difficult times. There's more articles. I don't know if you can refresh this stuff and play that video. See if you can refresh it and play that video. But there's more article that I wanted to touch base on the mark of the beast, that is already a law. You have more article that I pull out there?
Yes.
That's the same one. Did you refresh it?
I don't know why it's not playing. That's
You can just, there's a way to refresh it. Just refresh it. You don't have internet connection? Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this is not connected, right?
It is connected.
It says fixed internet connection problem.
It should be connected. See. Oh, it's not connected.
That's why.
So the internet, it's not even connected here. Hold on.
It is connected. That one is not connected.
Look
That
at
is
that.
connected. So go back and refresh
That's
it again.
weird.
We want to see, to play that article.
Okay, it's coming now.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
Our Constitution did not stop then, and it must not stop now, Judge. And we'll be faced with equally consequential decisions in the 21st century. Can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's body to track his every movement? There's actual discussion about that. You will rule on that. Mark my words.
You see that?
Your tenure is over.
He said, you will rule on that, mark my word, before your tenure is over. An electronic implantable, microscopic chip that will be implanted. That's what Joe Biden is saying. It's already a law. This is before Obama came into office. And he's saying, mark my words. You're telling the senator in the Congress, the lawmakers that you will make that decision. But the deception is that the decision has been made not through the legislative branch or the Congress. The decision was made through the judicial branch, because it was the judicial branch that uphold the approval of the Obamacare that already has that implantable device. You see that? This is amazing.
Brain scan be used to determine whether a person is inclined toward criminality or violent behavior. You will rule on that.
And they're trying to use it in a positive way too.
They're trying to use that in a positive way so that you will embrace it. So it says a brain
Scan to determine whether someone has a criminal capability or not. So once you put the chip inside of you, so you can catch crime before it actually happens. So that's what they use.
Which is profiling. And so we are going to be criminalized. So they can determine your behavior. If your child has a problem with attention deficit disorder, they're going to be chipped to track them. These are, you see that, you hear that in Mecca? It's not funny, but it's serious. But these are healthy kids. These are smart kids. They don't need none of that stuff. But they will actually put a stigma on them as children that lack attention deficit so that they can actually get them chipped. Vice President said,
Know whether you will be a justice of pleas, and the constitutional journey must continue to speak to these consequential decisions, or that we've gone far enough of protection against government intrusion into our autonomy, into those personal decisions we make. Judge, that's why this is a critical moment.
See that? Say this is why it's a critical
Critical moment.
and it is critical.
Indeed.
This is what we're dealing with today. And it's all happening right in front of us. No one can do about it. The Messiah has prophesied that they're going to do it, and it's already done. Now we're dealing with implementation when they will implement it. And it's part of the thing. So here we go. We're not finishing with the article, but I don't know why you're closing it.
No, no,
I'll put in
don't
some
open it.
articles on earthquakes. There's an earthquake, seismic reaction reporting to be happening also in that's reported to happen in Los Angeles. I wanted to put that article when we get to that
It's
place.
there. I already
Okay,
put it
good.
up.
So here we go. Let's try to get into the plagues now and get some things going. Book of Revelation. Where did we leave off?
Chapter 13.
No, now back chapter 15.
Okay.
Revelation 15.
We just finished the one that say, "Here's the mind that had wisdom."
Yes, I want to go back to Revelation
15.
chapter 15, 1
All
to
right.
8, real quick.
Revelation chapter 15, verse 1.
No, actually, get back to verse 3.
Verse 3 says, Revelation chapter 15, verse 3.
Well, read verse 2.
Verse 2 says, And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of Elohim, and they sing the song of Moses.
Now you see that we have to overcome the system, the capitalistic economic system, not to be enlisted in this system. Now, this beast technology is so deep, it can actually alter your soul. It links you back to the bloodline of Satan. That's exactly what the mark of the beast does. That's why the Messiah said that if you receive that mark, you are as good as dead. You're not going to make it in the kingdom. So it's very, very important that we pay attention, because this thing can change your genetic makeup. They can actually change your bloodline. They can turn your life off. All your bank statements will be there. Your medical bills will be there. Your school, your education, all your information, your personal information will be accessed just like that. And they'll be able to predict before you do a crime, and they can actually...
Well, they've been spending billions of dollars in in study of human genomes.
Yes.
And better, study of human genomes. They talk about it in the news every day.
Absolutely.
They're not spending the money for nothing.
It's a big industry. By the way, the technology is already here.
Right.
They've already spent the money. So it's something that they're going to just pull out very soon, because we know that they're hundreds of years out in terms of the technological gap. They're far already ahead in terms of the technological curve. We are just playing a catch-up. Continue.
Verse 15, verse 3 says, And they sang the song of Moses, the servant of the Most High, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, O Most High Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of the saints. Who shall not fear thee, O Ahia, and glorify thy name? For thou only art holy, for all nations shall come and worship before thee. For thy judgments are made manifest. And after that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle of the testimony in heaven was open. And the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues.
Have the 7 what?
Plagues.
That's what we're about to go into. Come on.
Clothed in pure and white linen, and having their breasts guarded with golden girdles. And one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 angels 7 golden vials, full of the wrath of the Most High.
The 7 golden vials full of what?
The wrath of the Most High.
His anger against the system. His anger against an oppressive capitalistic system that is so rebellious towards him. That's why the same thing is being poured. Like he was angry against ancient Egyptians, he's angry against Babylon the Great. Come on.
They say 7 golden vials full of the wrath of the Most High, who liveth forever and ever. And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of the Elohim and from his power.
and no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled.
Till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were what?
Fulfilled.
So let's look at that. Chapter 16, verse 1 to 2. Let's look at the plagues. Come on.
Chapter 16.
So you can't even come close to the Most High until he expresses his wrath on the earth. Not even the angels can approach him. That's how angry he is. Read it.
Verse 16, verse 1. And
Chapter 16, verse 1 to 2.
Yes, and I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, Go your ways, and pour out the vials of the wrath of Elohim upon the earth.
The Most High said to angels, go and pour the wrath upon the earth. His wrath. Letting you know that he's bringing the judgment and the deliverance. He already made the sacrifice on the Christ. So the final 7 plagues are now ready to be poured. Read it.
And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth.
And the first angels went and poured out his vials upon the earth.
And there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image.
See that? So the Most High does not want you to be down with his system. Their clothing line, how they dress, how they think, their philosophies. You gotta watch them carefully. Yeah, you might be making money to take care of your children, but be very careful. You see that? Be very, very careful. Don't just say you think that they look good. You don't understand that the system is built by Satan. And just take everything that they give us, all the political policies coming out of Washington. You gotta be careful, especially Obamacare. He doesn't care. He's put up to keep the children of Israel in sleeping. Amazing. That was verse 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're worshiping the beast, so now is it possible that the Israelites could be part of the people receiving the sword? In ancient Egypt, he saved us because we were Israel. But in modern Babylon or modern Egypt, you're not going to be saved just because you're Israel. Because if you have the mark of the beast, the sword is going to come upon you. You see that? Because that's what it tells you here. If you have the mark of the beast, whether you're a Gentile or Israelite, you gotta be careful because you're about to receive the pouring out of the vials. Amazing. And they're worshiping the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? They're glorifying the civilization. So when you see us speaking this tough gospel, because we know what the scriptures have said about the existing systems. Amazing. So let's compare that with Exodus chapter 9, when the Most High did it before in ancient Egypt. So we're going to compare what's happening, what's about to happen is already beginning to, this is going to break off in a time of after the tribulation, or before leading to the great tribulation, total chaos. Let's show that. Exodus chapter 9, verse 8. This is when it happened in ancient time. Exodus chapter 9, verse 8 to 12. This is when the Most High poured out the grievous sore. What they call the grievous sore on the people that have the mark of the beast. That means you are down with the system. You're down with their lifestyle. You are really loving this stuff. And you're just living in sin. Let's show what happened in ancient Egypt. Read it.
Exodus chapter 9, verse 8. And the Most High said unto Moshe and unto Aaron,
Take to you handfuls of ashes of the furnace, and let Moses sprinkle it toward the heaven in the sight of Pharaoh. And it shall become small dust in all the land of Egypt, and shall be a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast throughout all the land of Egypt.
And they took ashes of the furnace and stood before Pharaoh, and Moses sprinkled it up toward the heaven, and it became a boil breaking forth with blains upon men and upon beasts. And the magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils, for the boils was upon the magicians and upon all the Egyptians. And the Most High hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Most High had spoken unto Moses.
So stop right there. So what you see again is that there's a pandemic that is going to be released in the earth soon. One of the biggest concern for the Food Health and Administration, as well as FEMA, they're preparing for a global pandemic. It's first coming to Babylon, especially those people that have the mark of the beast, that have the number of the beast, that are dealing down with these philosophies of this system. That's what Revelation says. So that's the first plague. Go back to Revelation.
Revelation chapter 16,
Verse 3.
verse 3 says, And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea.
Every living soul did what?
Died in the sea.
Amazing. Now, I'm going to get, I don't want to, I can't get into detail to actually break this stuff down, because you're talking about the aquatic life that sustains life in the water. Look at what happened with Fukushima, the oil spill, and this is about to get worse in terms of the destruction of the aquatic life. Did it happen in ancient Egypt? Yes. Let's go there. That was Revelation. You read Revelation chapter 16.
16 verse 3.
We'll continue to read verse 4 to 7 as well.
And the third angel poured out his vials upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood.
And they became what?
Blood.
Come on.
And I heard the angel of the waters say, Thou art righteous, O... What is this thing doing? Thou art righteous, who art... That was that verse 3, right?
Yes, that's Revelations chapter 16, verse 4 to 7.
And the third poured out his bowl into the rivers and the fountains of the waters, and it became blood. And I heard the angel of the waters saying, Righteous art thou, who art and who was thou Holy One, because thou didst thus judge. For they poured out the blood of the saints and the prophets, and blood hast thou given them to drink.
See that? Who are the saints and the prophets? The Israelites. They've been killing us for a long time. The system is behind the eugenics agenda, the total destruction of our people. So the Bible is judging an oppressive, destructive system. So the Most High say, I'm going to fill, so the water systems here in Babylon will be filled with blood, because they poured so much blood. North American Indians, the Negro slaves, and continuous destruction through the COINTEL project, all the different clandestine projects that they're doing across the world. The angels are telling the Most High, you have judged righteously. All the prophets, let's go back to Revelation.
Exodus.
Before you go to Exodus, well, let's go to Revelation, because we know the prophets are the Israelites, us, our ancestors,
Right.
And we know the saints are also the Israelites. We've seen that in many precepts. Now let's look at Revelation chapter 17, verse 6.
Revelation chapter 17 verse 6, and it reads, And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of the Mashiach. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration.
So this Babylonian system has been destroying our people. So that's why the blood, our water will be filled with blood. The Egyptians was doing the same thing. They were killing, causing eugenicism. They have set up abortion here in Babylon, where we are killing our own children. And they teach you sexual promiscuity and immorality and liberalize you to live in sin. And then they built, Planned Parenthood in the ghettos, where we are now being taught to destroy our own generation. Children that are born, killed. The child is much more facing more danger in her mother's stomach than in another place, a Negro child, an Israelite children, than any other place in the world. Even in the ghettos where we're shooting ourselves. And the ancient Egyptians were killing our babies. They were causing eugenesis. They were breaking off the heads of our children when they are the men when they are born. You think that the system has done that? Look at a Negro child in America today. Look at their condition. They're totally thugged out. They've already infiltrated the pop game, the hip hop game now, which used to be a rebellious song against the system. They have already infiltrated through Jay-Z, through Beyonce, through Biggie Smalls, and all these people that they have paid over the years. When Public Enemy and all those cats were discrediting the system and exposing what was going on when we were growing up. Today, look at what we're doing. It's about women, about money, it's about naked women. I don't even want to speak the words. That's the system that our children are learning from. A lot of our children already have the mark of the beast, because when they open the television, they're getting the image, the lifestyle of the beast in their television. You open the news, you get it, turn off a Hollywood movie, you're receiving the image of the beast. You go to the schools, you're being taught the image of the beast, the knowledge. You got the mark, you're already programmed in the system. So here we go. Let's see what happened in ancient Egypt. Exodus chapter 7 verse 14, real quick. Exodus chapter 7 verse 14, speaking about the plagues. Read it.
Exodus chapter 7. Let me get there. Exodus chapter 7 verse 14, and it reads, And the Most High said unto Moses, Pharaoh's heart is hardened. He refuseth to let the people go. Get thee unto Pharaoh in the morning. Lo, he goeth out into the waters, and thou shalt stand by the river bank, the river's banks, against he coming, and the rod which was turned to a serpent shalt thou take in thy hand, and thou shalt say unto him, the Most High power of the Hebrews.
The Most High power of the what?
Of the Hebrews.
Of the what?
Of the Hebrews.
Chineke ndị Igbo. That's how he used to be known.
Yep.
The God of the Igbos, the Hebrews, we the Jews. Amazing. They called us the Jews the Igbos. Chineke ononelu Allah. Allahaya mundi Igbo. Amazing. Come on.
Has sent me unto thee, saying, let my people go.
Is that not what he said in the book of Jeremiah? They will not let us go. They have enchanted us in this system. Same thing, we must tell the 12 tribes of Israel, wake up and leave. It's time for us to leave this an oppressive system and seek for Zion. Let my people go. Come on.
Let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness.
In the what?
In the wilderness.
In the what?
In the wilderness.
We are going back in the wilderness, brothers and sisters. Again, just like in ancient Egypt, we're going to be heading back in the wilderness after the plagues. Because the plagues is to collapse the system. The plagues, the 7 plagues are to bring this system to its needs. You see that? Read it.
Behold, hitherto thou wouldst not hear. Thus said the Most High, in this thou shalt know that I am the Most High. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in my hand upon the waters which are in the rivers, and they shall be turned to blood.
They shall be turned to what?
To blood.
Because Egyptians were pouring the blood of our people, causing ancient eugenicism of our people, just like America, a great parallel. Amazing. Go ahead.
And the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptians shall loathe to drink of the water of the rivers. And the Most High spake unto Moshe, saying say unto Aaron, take thy rod,
Aharon,
and stretch out thy hand upon the waters of Egypt, upon their streams, upon their rivers, upon their ponds, and upon all the pools of water, that they may become blood, and that they shall be blood throughout all the lands of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. And Moshe and Aaron did so, as the Most High commanded, and he lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the rivers in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servants, and all the waters that were in the rivers were turned to blood, and the fish that was in the river died, and the rivers stank, and the Egyptians could not drink of the waters of the river, and there was blood throughout all the land of Egypt.
And that's what's coming throughout all the lands of Babylon the Great. Are you prepared for this? What do you think happens to your fish that you get to your grocery store? Now you see why. What do you think happened to your food? Those people that are eating shrimp, eating lobster and crab, what do you think happened to your food system when this happens in Babylon the Great? There will be no more food. That's why there's famine. Tells you that in Revelation chapter 18, gives you the detailed description of the 7 plagues. the impact, the combined impact of the 7 plagues in Revelation 18 is what it shows you by the 7 plagues. Amazing. Continue.
22. And the magicians of Egypt did so with their enchantments, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened, neither did he hearken unto them as the Most High had said.
Now keep that in mind, because as these events are happening, the world will now repent. The reason why he's doing all this stuff for them to repent, but he knows that this particular Pharaoh was wicked. Pharaoh Nico. Very wicked. So the Most High said, I'm going to give you over to what you desire. Let me pluck up his heart and be hardened, so I can continue to fulfill this plague. Just like these wicked people controlling this system today, they won't let us go. So the Most High will bring all the fullness of his plague. The Most High never changes. Amazing. Read on.
And Pharaoh turned and went into his house, neither did he send his heart to this also. And all the Egyptians digged around about the river for water to drink, for they could not drink of the water of the river. And 7 days were fulfilled after the Most High had smitten the rivers.
And there's going to be scarcity of water. Clean water he's going to take to the next level, a higher dimension during the 7 plagues. It will be scorching. It's a pandemic, epic proportion. That's what's coming. For all the wicked to die, for all the unrighteous to die, to shake him off. That's one comparison. Let's go to Revelation now. Back to Revelation. We're going back and forth. Revelation chapter 8, 16. Pick it up from verse 8 to 9.
Revelation chapter 16, from verse 8. And it reads, And the 4th angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire.
And the 4th angel poured out his vial upon the what?
Upon the sun.
Upon the what?
Upon the sun.
The sun, solar systems. The Bible said there's going to be signs and wonders in the sun and the moon. The intensity of the sun, the angel controlling the sun, will actually cause the intensity of the sun to take to a higher dimension in the time of the 7 plagues that is coming. Come on.
And men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of the Most High, which had power over these plagues. And they repented not to give him glory.
Does that sound familiar? We just read that in ancient Egypt. The reason why the scourges are actually saying, in the book of Ezra, it tells that the scourges are sent for what? Amendment. For repentance. So you're going to see, like Al Gore, who was behind the deceptive environmentalist movement, talks about the solar intensity,
the global warming
agenda, to create what you call carbon. It was carbon rationing, where you get to pay now to emit carbon from a corporate structure, all the corporations, and then we end up paying for it, but it was all engineered. This hasn't happened yet. They understand that it's going to come, but not yet. It's going to happen. The true global warming will happen during the 7 plagues, and it will be unbearable. So what they're saying scientifically is correct, but not yet until this time. So before then, they're actually trying to use that to continue to enslave us. Amazing. Jump down to verse 10 now to 11.
Verse 10 says, And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongue for pain, and blasphemed the name of the Most High of Elohim of heaven because of their pain and their sores, and repented not.
And what?
Repented not.
What verse was that?
Verse 11 of
See
their
that?
deeds.
They did not repent. The Most High is sending the plagues once again for people to repent. Even when he's punishing, it's for repentance. For people to learn and see that something, this is a sign of our times for us to change. Now, some people might say that this is already happening right now, but do you see that? This look like this is something that is engineered looking to destroy the system. So I don't think this has happened yet.
Right.
I think this is leading to the fall. All these things are leading to the system to fall. From my own examination, and I want you to examine it yourself. Some scholars think that this has already been happening, which some of them has been.
Because the scripture says it's going to be concurrent. It's concurrent.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the tribulation.
Right.
We're speaking about these 7 plagues.
Okay.
The 7 plagues will intensify, leading to bringing the system down.
right.
Continue.
Verse 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way...
Actually, you read verse 10 to 11, right?
That's right.
So you're talking about darkness over
Egypt.
Babylon. Now we know that this darkness is profound because, yes, he's speaking about the darkness that you normally see, but I also know that this is speaking about your electric grid. He's also speaking about what? The EMPs, which is electromagnetic pulses. One of the biggest threats that is one of the senators say that they're confronted with today is the fall of your electrical systems. Your electrical systems are going to collapse. And that's why they're worried about Iran. They feel like Iran, there's a war already going down on the background of all these things. What is this war? The war that is going down is the electromagnetic battle between nations. Iran built their nuclear systems. America and the Western powers, and especially the Jewish Zionists, they send them what you call electronical EMPs, which is a virus attack to their system to delay their, what you call carbon, uranium, because they're actually creating uranium to build their missile systems. So they actually affected Iran. You can actually find articles that actually showed you that they did that. So Iran has to, rehearse themselves and restructure themselves and continue to produce what they were producing, which is enriched uranium. But they're also afraid because one of the U.S. general and senators came out and said that the biggest fear that we'll fear in Babylon is someone destroying the electric grid through EMPs. And this is very real.
Yeah.
It's very, very real. And what do you think it happens to your electric grid? That's what will happen. So there are multiple ways that the Most High can take down this system. You're talking about by natural events and also by electromagnetic scientific events that is happening already.
They even talked about how they're not able to produce the transformers that we see. These huge transformers, they're so expensive, and they don't even have backup ones anymore.
Exactly.
They talked about that in the news the other day.
Absolutely.
About the electromagnetics. What if it breaks down, how they don't have transformers anymore.
There's no more transformers. And speaking of the transformers, you see what's going on with Fukushima. That's one of the biggest threat right now. And there's fault lines in America. You're speaking about and they're not maintaining these systems. I mean, I guess I have to have a separate teaching just on the 7 plagues, what they really, really represent, and the danger that they pose to us, why we should be prepared. Because any of these things can trigger, like what you call a chain reaction.
Yes.
Amazing. Chain reaction. And that's what it looks like. To cripple a system, the Most High is crippling an oppressive system and breaking it down bit by bit, leading to a great cataclysm. Let's look at that. Pick it up now from, let's look at Exodus chapter 10. He did that to the ancient Egyptians? Yes. Look at ancient Egypt. Exodus chapter 10 verse 21. Let's look at it.
Exodus chapter 10, verse 21. And he reads, And the Most High said unto Moshe, Stretch out thy hand toward the heavens, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt.
Even darkness which may be what?
Felt.
And you're going to feel it. There will not be no more electricity in Babylon very soon. There will not be electricity. So what will life be like? The nuclear plants, especially when the nuclear plant begin to explode, which will happen eventually as part of this great bang. Amazing. A darkness that will be felt. It will be felt at every level. So I do believe that's part of that. Not just literal darkness. That's maybe part of it too. But I know he's speaking about the loss of anything that has to do with electromagnetic energy that fuels the system. Read it.
And Moshe stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. And they saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings.
But all the Bay Israel had what?
Light in their dwellings.
We had light. He will protect us in a time of great outpouring. Read it.
And Pharaoh called unto Moshe, and said, Go ye, serve the Most High. Only let your flocks and your herds be stayed. Let your little ones also go with you. And Moshe said, Thou must give us also sacrifices and burnt offerings, that we may sacrifice unto the Most High our power. Our cattle also shall go with us. There shall not an hoof be left behind, for thereof must we take to serve the Most High our power, and we know not with what we must serve the Most High until we come thither.
Go ahead.
But the Most High hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let them go. And Pharaoh said unto him, Get thee from me, take heed to thyself, see my face no more, for in that day thou seest my face, thou shalt die. And Moshe said, Thou hast spoken well. I will see thy face again no more.
Moshe was humble, man. Moshe is so humble, man. He just as a messenger, and he had to be on point. He doesn't have to get into all the fiasco of Pharaoh. You come in there, you deliver the message, you do exactly what you're told to do, and you're out. He's not even getting into none of this drama.
No argument.
Yeah, that's exactly how answers does that, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So now you see darkness over Egypt, just like it's coming here. Your electric grid are going to fall. There will be darkness. The angels are doing it. Again, we are the Israelite prophesying for this stuff. Some of our people are going to be given power, like Moses had power, like he tells in Revelation 11, to even cause these plagues to happen upon this system. Amazing. Revelation chapter 16, verse 12 to 16. Let's read that now.
Revelation chapter 16, verse 12.
So again, this darkness is one of the biggest threats in Babylon. There's more study that needs to be done on this to see if this thing is chronological. There's got to be much more research and study to understand how these 7 plagues are going to be, and the chronology. It looks like they are chronological, but I'm still looking at it. Continue to read now.
Revelation chapter 16, verse 12. And the 6th angel poured out his vial.
The 6th angel now poured out its vial on Babylon the Great, where we are living today.
Upon the great river Euphrates, and the waters thereof were dried up.
And the great river Euphrates dried up,
that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared.
Now pay attention. This is very interesting. Ancient Babylon, where we came from, why is he speaking about great river Euphrates? That's where the war will actually begin to explode from. So this links to the war, because there are 4 angels in the great river Euphrates. It tells you there, And these 4 angels will trigger the global war. So there are wars also going on here. And then the water system will actually dry to allow the beast from the east to come.
Amen.
Who are these people? It's linking back to Iran. It's linking back to all the nations on Far East and the Middle East where the war will explode from. It's going to be crazy in the earth. And there's already a dry, there's some people doing research. They see that the river Euphrates is drying up right now. So people can actually walk on a dry shod. And the same place where our people are going to be walking that are even scattered in India, in some of those places, in far India and Asia, if you will, because Israel is scattered in the 4 corners of the earth. But before they can come back, there's going to be a war.
That's right.
Read that again, please. Revelation chapter 16, verse what?
Verse 12.
Go ahead.
And the 6th angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the waters thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared.
Go ahead.
And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon.
Now there's also a frogs in the plagues in ancient Egypt. And you're going to study about this frog. I'm not going to go into the meaning of these frogs. There's so much eschatological and prophetic, meanings, a lot of this stuff that needs to be dug into deeper. But continue to read.
And out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophets.
Now we know the beast is the Babylonian system, which is America and Western civilization. And the false prophets are their government and the people that are giving the philosophy, your pastors, your prophets, your teachers, your scientists, the prognosticators that you see projecting and making forecasts on your television, CNN. Read it.
Mouth of the false prophets, for they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to battle that great day of the Almighty.
So you're going to look at propaganda. A spirit of the devil through this Western system to continue to prop up the system even when the plagues are coming. To get people to still continue to support their system. So why all these things is happening? That's why they're now repenting. So they can send all the nations that are down with America. So we still got everything in control. We still that great empire. Listen to that. For they are the spirit of what?
For they are the spirit of devils, working miracles.
Working what?
Miracles.
Their signs and their wonders is the technology that was built based on sorcery and astrology of ancient Babylon through E equals MC squared, the scientific machinations of this system.
Fallen angels.
They're going to be pouring out as this event develop in the earth. And to buy people to still believe in them. The spirit of the fallen angels that has set up this system, you're going to see the technology that they're hidden that you never even seen before. This is why the Bible says, the book said we shall unleash the annihilist. That's, what's his name?
That's Azazel.
No, the book that predicted the 3 wars.
Oh, yeah. The three wars. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You're speaking about the Illuminati General Albert Pike.
About Pike.
Yes. You're looking at the unleashment of the nihilist. Continue.
For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to battle of that great day of Elohim Almighty.
So there's a battle of Armageddon. The final battle. So they're not going to repent. As we saw, when this system falls, they're still going to be fighting out of Europe. Who's going to be fighting out of Europe? The same Roman Caesars. They're not going to give up. Satan has bought out with the elite controlling this earth. They're not going to repent just like ancient Pharaoh. They're still going to fight till the death until the Most High totally crumbles the system. Amazing. Read it.
Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth, and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked.
Read that again.
Behold,
Pay attention.
behold, I come as a thief.
Christ is speaking now. The Messiah, our anointed Savior, what did he say?
Behold, I come as a thief.
He's going to be surprised. He's coming like a thief in the night. Now this is a puzzle to me. Why is this a puzzle? How can all these things be happening and he's saying that I'm coming like a thief? Letting you know that all these events can be happening and people are not paying attention. Because they're used to the system, they don't know the signs of the time. All these things these magnificent global shifting events, game-changing events are going to be happening, but you don't know that, like we read in the book of Barakwa, say, it is in that time that is coming. Letting you know that you can still be caught up in the whole fiasco and now be ready that Christ is already about to break through the door. How do we know that? Go to Matthew. Read that verse again before you go to Matthew.
Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked,
Read that again.
and they shall see his shame.
No, read that again.
Behold, I come as a thief.
What verse?
Verse 15.
Come on.
Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame.
See there? What is keeping your garment? The garment of holiness, righteousness, keeping the commandment. Pay attention to the event. What does he want to watch? Watch about prophecy and pray for the kingdom that he protect you in this time of great peril. The time of great outpouring of the wrath of the Most High Son. Because it's Christ doing all this stuff just like in ancient time. He's repeating the cycle again. Why the Passover, the unleavened bread, all his feast days are important to keep you abreast of the times. To watch and pray and pay attention to global events so that this thing can happen and you miss it. Read on.
And he gathered them together.
No, what verse?
Verse 16 now.
Stop right there. Let's see what he said there. Go to Matthew chapter 24 and pick it up from verse 32. When he told us to watch and pray in this great outpouring. We're rounding up.
Matthew chapter 24, you said?
Matthew chapter 24, verse 32 to 36. Mattathiah, another Igbo prophet, chapter 24, verse 32.
And he reads, Now learn a parable of the fig tree.
Christ is speaking. In Revelation, he told us, Behold, I come like a thief. Watch and keep your garment right. The garment of holiness, keeping his commandment and preparing, putting your faith in him. Don't get caught up in this system. Don't get caught up about what is coming to happen. Now, take your time to read this gently. Listen to what he's speaking to us in Matthew now. Read that again.
Now learn a parable of the fig tree.
The parable of the fig tree. What is the parable of the fig tree?
When its branch is yet tender, and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is nigh, even at the door.
When you see all these signs happening, know that Christ's second coming, when he's going to pierce and break through the atmosphere, is nigh.
Even at the door.
Very door. Very door. Because he's coming like a thief. In the midst of all this stuff, he's still coming like a thief in the night. So you can still miss it in all the grand fiasco. Read it.
Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not
This
pass.
generation shall not pass.
Till all these things
all
be
these
fulfilled.
things be fulfilled. So it's happening in our time. Read it.
Heaven and earth shall pass away, but
It's
my
happening
words
in our time. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but his word
shall not pass away.
is happening in our time. He prophesied it in Matthew 24. Wars and rumors of war. He's all speaking about the same event. We gotta be prepared. This is gonna happen in our lifetime, brothers and sisters. It's already happening. Are we prepared for Christ to pass over the earth, to pass over Babylon the Great, to pass over? Do you have the leaven? Have you removed the leaven from your life? Wickedness, malice, evil, selfishness, greed, materialism, worldliness, disobedience. Have you removed the leaven? Have you been eating unleavened bread? That's what it means. say, therefore let us keep the feast.
Not with the old leaven of malice and
Not with the
wickedness.
what?
Old leaven.
Old leaven
of malice
and
wickedness.
but what?
But with sincerity.
But the leaven of sincerity
and truth.
And truth. That's how we're supposed to keep this last day of the week of unleavened bread. For us to make it. There's no more time for shenanigans. There's no more time for games. It's time to take the Holy Scriptures seriously. It's time to actually begin to prepare for what's about to happen in the earth. Are you ready? Is your family ready? Are your brothers and sisters ready? A lot of them are going to die in this great outpouring. They're not ready. The people in the churches are not ready. Pick it up again.
Where do you want me to start?
Matthew 24, verse 44.
Verse 34 says, Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words.
But my words.
My words.
But my words.
My words.
My words
shall not pass away, but of that day and hour knoweth no man.
The time when Christ will literally break through the atmosphere and you're going to see him in the atmosphere. No one knows the exact same day, but we know the signs of his coming and the events leading to him breaking through.
No, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only.
The Most High is waiting to release Christ. My son, go get him. Go get him. It's time to go get him. Christ is waiting to be loosed. The angels are ready for Christ to give them command.
That's
so he
right.
can harvest the earth in judgment. Jump down to verse 42.
Verse 42 says, Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Adonijah doth come. But know this, that if the good men of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up.
So when you see us keeping the commandment, you see us studying the prophecy, you see us following the Most High, and they're hating us, and they're thinking that you got this strange doctrine. You know, people look down on you. I mean, the difficulties are happening. Say, watch. You don't even know when the time of it means something what we're doing. You don't know when the good men of the house is coming. That's why we have to watch prophecies. When we're talking about global events, they're all leading us to you looking at someone and say, watchmen. We are supposed to be watchmen for each other, for the gospel, for the precept, for the prophecies. So what we do is not in vain. We are watching as Christ commanded us to watch the signs and pray about the prophecies about his kingdom to come. Read it.
44. Therefore, be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh.
Even when you don't even know, he's going to come when you don't know. Even in this global catastrophe. Because people are always used to global catastrophe. And you're caught up. I got to grab my children. And you're caught up. I got to feed my children. I got to go to the city. You're caught up in total chaos. There's no food. There's no water. No one is paying attention. We are in that time. We are in that time. We don't know the signs. So let's try to round up this thing now. That was Matthew, right?
Matthew chapter 24, verse. Stopped at 44.
So let's go to Revelation, back to Revelation chapter 16, and pick it up from 17 to 20. We're finishing with the 7 plagues, trying to tie it all together. I want to end up to when we're going to go into the wilderness. These things are significant to understanding Christ's second coming. Go ahead.
Verse 16.
Revelation chapter 16, verse 17 to 20.
You want me to jump 16, what it says?
What did he say?
Am I going to...
Yeah, read that, please.
Okay. Revelation chapter 16, verse 16. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon.
Armageddon. Go ahead.
And the 7th angel poured out his vial.
That's the last battle. We're about to go into the last battle. The seventh angel pours out. Now, this is the seventh angel. Pay attention. The last woe, the last vial. The seventh angel is about to pour it. Like I told you many times, I believe that the 7 plagues are actually systematic breakdown of the system. Economically, socially, politically, spiritually, he's breaking down this system gradually, leading to the great cataclysm. Pay attention to the last seventh, or the last plague, or the seventh plague, right?
The 7th plague, yes.
Pay attention how this is going to be the great boom that we all been waiting for. That is documented in Revelation 18. So that's when I started this stuff. I found out there's a whole lot of moving tangents here. There's so much moving tangents here. So there's going to be wars. That's the Battle of Armageddon. So the wars are going to lead there. That's going to bring the boom. Lead to Babylon being destroyed. Let's show that. Pick it up on verse 17.
Verse 17 says, Revelation 16, verse 17. And the 7th angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of the heaven from the throne, saying,
It is done.
It is what?
It is done.
The last plague is when it's what? Done. Letting you know that the system will collapse. Babylon, the system will collapse when it's done. Here, North America, it is done. Letting you know that after the 7th plague, this system is done. It is done. The missiles has been released. The nuclear explosion that will cause the great earthquake has been released. Because the Battle of Armageddon will lead to it falling. This is what I'm seeing right now. From what I've researched so far.
That's what it looks like.
That's read it.
It says, and a great voice from the throne saying,
It is done.
What verse?
Verse 18 now.
Go ahead.
And there was voices and thunders and lightnings, and there were a great earthquake.
And there was a what?
Great earthquake.
A great earthquake.
Go ahead.
Come on.
Such as was not.
Stop right there. There was a great earthquake, such as was what?
Was not.
Go ahead.
Since men were upon the earth.
So this is the greatest earthquake. And that's why I begin to believe that this last 7th plague will totally decimate Babylon. So letting you know that Battle of Armageddon links back to the war that will totally desolate her, and you're going to see the earthquake. Then everything will collide. Total fire, man. Read it. And there was a what?
And there was an earthquake such as was not since men were upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake and so great. And the great city was divided in 3 parts.
And the great city was what?
Divided in 3 parts.
Divided. So this mighty earthquake will split Babylon in 3 parts. When it's all going down, America will be split in 3 parts. With the Battle of Armageddon, the missiles will be, the nukes are going to be released, the electric grids are going to fall, the nuclear power plant will explode, and you're going to see fire and bloodshed, and the system will implode. Read it.
And the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell.
And when Babylon falls, all the cities of the world will what? Will fall, because every system hinges on her. Global system. Everything panoplies on her. Come on.
And great Babylon came in remembrance before the Most High to give unto her the cup of the wine of
Hold
fierce.
on one second. There's so much going on here. No, why is he saying the great Babylon coming to the remembrance? I'm going to show you when the Most High remembered her in Revelation 18. But the amazing thing is that, man, read 19 again. There's so much going on here, man. There's so much going on. This is the grand bang, the grand conclusion that is documented in Revelation 18. Read it again, please.
Revelation chapter 16, verse 19.
ancient Egypt was a civilization totally decimated. Just like this system is a city that impacts global world, just like ancient Egypt. The finance, the economics, the politics, the history, the geography, the migration, everything, the spirituality, just like today. Because the Most High is taking the bulls by the horn to bring it down. Read it.
Verse 19 says, and the great city was divided into 3 parts.
After the great earthquake, it's going to be divided into 3 parts.
And the cities of the nations fell.
And the cities of the nation fell.
And great,
so it's going to have a global resonance. Come on.
And great Babylon came in remembrance before Elohim to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath.
Now let's go back there. Revelation 18 now. Read verse 1. When the Most High remembers her, let you know this right here is linking back to Revelation 18. Read it. Verse 1.
Revelation 18 verse 1, and it reads, and after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory, and he cried mightily with his strong voice, saying,
Babylon!
Babylon the
Babylon!
great is fallen.
The great is fallen.
Is
fallen. fallen.
And is become the habitation
of devils.
And the hold of every foul spirit.
We are caged in this place.
And
it's a holding and it's a cage
of every uncleanness, and hateful bird,
filthiness, wickedness, evil, homosexuality, immorality, you name them. Come on.
For all nations,
all the global
have
world
drunk of the wine
of
the wrath of her fornication,
spiritual fornication.
And the kings of the earth
and your government
have committed
your
fornication
senators, your
with her,
politicians
and the merchants
are down and implicit with the system. Come on.
And the merchants
and
of
the
the earth
businessmen
are waxed rich,
making money. Your corporations
through the abundance
enjoyed
of her delicacies.
The capitalistic profits.
And I heard,
and all the food and the classy foods and all the everything. Your production, your everything has been influencing the world. And I heard what?
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
You come out, the children of Israel, come on.
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
That you're not going to live and continue to break the commandments. Don't keep the Sabbath day holy. Don't wear pants as the Most High commands you. Don't be breaking the laws and statutes and commandments. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal. Don't call on names of other gods. Begin to keep the Most High's laws, because he's not going to spare you. He's not a respecter of person. It doesn't matter who you are.
That
you cannot be wicked no more. Because what will happen to you?
That ye receive not of her plagues.
The plagues. Oh, Naga. The Most High is going to strike the earth with plagues. Both Jews and Gentiles that are breaking his commandments. And what will happen?
For her sins have reached up unto heaven.
Go ahead.
And the Most High have remembered her iniquities.
Linking it back to what we just read. I told you that's when Revelation chapter 18 is being fulfilled. Revelation 18 is being fulfilled right there in Revelation chapter 17. Revelation chapter 16 right there. When he tells you the Most High Babylon has, Revelation chapter 16 verse 19 he said, and great Babylon came to be remembrance before Elohim. That's when he remembers her. This whole thing is judging her. The 7 plagues to strike the system. I was distraught when I got this revelation, this understanding. The 7 plagues is breaking down the system. Amazing. Amazing. But it says it's going to be a glow. And read it now, verse 20. Read verse 19 down to 20 again.
Revelation?
Yes, please.
Revelation chapter 19?
Chapter 16, verse 19 to 20.
Okay, I'll go back to 16 now.
There's so much going on in Revelation 19 and Revelation 20. We're running up, but I want to close this thing in power. Read it.
Revelation chapter 16, verse 19, and it reads, and the great city was divided into 3 parts.
Because of the earthquake and the final boom through the wars and all the combination of all these things. Come on.
And the cities of the nations fell.
And all the nations fell. Come on.
And great Babylon came in remembrance before the Most High to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath.
Now listen to verse 20.
And every island fled away.
And every island did what?
Fled away.
Why? Read it.
and the mountains were not found.
Why? The mountains will shrink. All the island nations will depart. Why? This is a global impact. When the nuclear missiles are hit, it's going to shift the global plates. It's going to shift the plates of the earth, what you call plate tectonic. And the only continent that has not drifted is Africa. And that's why we're going to be looking towards Zion to passing through Africa beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, which is the slave coast of Africa, crossing across to get back to Mount Zion around the borders of Jerusalem. This is amazing. But it will be a global impact. How do you know that? Go to Jeremiah chapter 45 and chapter 50, read verse 45 and verse 46. It tells you there why all these nations are going to drift. So places like Jamaica might drift towards Africa. South America might drift away. Australia might disappear. Cuba, all these little islands may not be there. There's going to be movements. The earth will be restructured. When the Babylon system collapses, there's going to be a global renaissance. Let's read that.
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse what?
Verse 45 and 46.
Verse 45 says,
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 45 and verse 46 to show you the global impact of the collapse of this system. Read it.
Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Most High.
This is the advice of Ononelu Allah, the Most High, the power of the Igbos, the Hebrews. What is his advice and his secret counsel?
Therefore, hear ye the counsel of
Just
the Most
read it.
High that he had taken against Babylon.
That he has taken against who?
Babylon,
This is a plan that he has against this system. What is his plan?
and his purpose that he had purposed against the land of the Chaldeans.
The land of the what?
Of the Chaldeans.
Of the sorcerers, Koshide or Koside, ndị na-akọ ọgwụ, ndị na-akọsịrị mmadụ ọgwụ, that was built on scientific sorcery. What is his plan?
Surely the least of the flocks shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. At the noise of the taking of Babylon,
At the noise of the taking of Babylon, or Babylon, the place of mixture and confusion of between fallen angels and man, the mixture of spirits. When the system collapses, what will happen?
the earth is moved.
The earth is what?
Is moved.
The whole earth will be moved. Come on.
And the cry is heard among the nations.
And a cry, the resultant force or the impact will be heard among the what?
The nations.
The other nations. What verse was that?
that was verse 46.
So go back to Isaiah real quick. Tie it up with Isaiah chapter 13 verse 19 and 14. Isaiah confirms the same thing. Yache Yawa. Let's read it. Chapter 13 verse 9 to 14 at the fall of Babylon. What it means. Let's read it.
Behold, the day of the Most High cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. And he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it.
He's going to shake away the sinners like we saw in the book of Job. See that? The reason for these plagues is to destroy the sinful people that are and sin are those people that don't keep his commandments. Read it.
For the stars of heaven and the constellation thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine.
The signs and the sun and the moon. Go ahead.
And I will punish the
I
world
will punish the world for
their evil, and the wicked for
and
their
the
iniquity.
wicked for their what?
Iniquity.
For their iniquity.
And I will cause the arrogance of the proud to cease.
Who is the most proud? Babylon. The whole prophecy is about Babylon. I will cause the arrogance of the most proud to cease.
And will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible.
Come on.
I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wage of Ophir. Therefore, I will shake the heavens.
Most might say what?
I will shake the heavens.
Therefore, I will shake the heavens.
And the earth
Shall be what?
removed
Removed
out of her place.
out of her place.
In the wrath of Ahiah of hosts.
In the day.
In the day of his fierce anger.
Fierce anger. Man, what do you think is going to shift the plates? The pillars of the earth quaking. Nuclear explosion. The combination of nuclear explosion coming in, and the combination of the fault lines, the combination of your nuclear power plants. All these things will lead to the Great Bang that will impact the whole world and shift the global plates. Man! Woo! Are we ready for this? The earth is about to go through a dynamic shift. So finish up Revelation chapter 16,
Revelation chapter 16.
verse 21.
And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent, and men blasphemed the Most High because of the plague of the hail. For the plague thereof was exceeding great.
For the what?
The plague.
What
There,
verse was there?
verse 21.
In 21, 20 tells you that all the island fled away, the mountains were not found, and there fell upon the men great hail out of heaven, right? You remember the plagues? Let's look at the plague of the hail. Exodus, real quick.
Sure.
The book of Exodus. Well, you can actually look at it at your own time. One of the plagues of hail is that, well, Exodus chapter 9. Go to Exodus 9, verse 13. Let's just touch base on it a little bit.
Exodus chapter 9, verse 13.
Read it.
And it reads, And the Most High said unto Moshe,
Rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus says the Most High power of the Hebrews,
Of the Hebrews. Debo. Go ahead.
let my people go, that they may serve me.
The only reason for all this stuff is to gather the Israelites again. The righteous Israelites that are keeping his commandments, and Gentiles that are also keeping the commandments, and shift the whole system economically, politically, socially, but spiritually. Great revolution is by power. Every revolution is by takedown. This is the takedown of Babylon the Great.
because when people left from ancient Egypt, they left with mixed multitudes.
Yes.
Wow.
Read it.
Let my people go, that they may serve me. For I will at this time send all my plagues upon thy heart, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, that they may know that there is none like me in all the earth.
Ooh! The Most High is not a joke. Go ahead.
For now I will stretch out my hand, that I may smite thee and thy people with the pestilence, and thou shalt be cut off from the earth. And in very deed, for this cause have I raised thee up, for to show in thee my power, that my name may be declared throughout all the earth.
Can stop right there. We saw that already. So that the Most High is going to get fame. He will get glory and dominion in the earth. He will get the scepter of rulership is coming to Yehuda. He will get to rule the earth again in dominion and righteousness and destroy all evil. Ononeluala, he's coming to establish the righteousness for us again. Amazing. Let's look at the hills. Read it. Pick it up from where you left off.
Behold, tomorrow about this time I will cause it to rain a very grievous hail, such as had not been in Egypt since the foundation thereof, even until now. Send therefore now, and gather thy cattle, and all that thou hast in the field, for upon every man and beast which shall be found in the field, and shall not be brought home, the hail shall come down upon them, and they shall die.
Stop right there. It also happened in Revelation 17. Chapter 16, verse 21. Let's read that also. Start from verse 20.
Verse 20 says,
Also in Isaiah, read verse 20. Then I'm going to point something out in Isaiah, where you read Isaiah chapter 13. Read verse 20 again.
Revelation chapter 16, verse 20, And every island fled away,
And every island did what?
fled away,
Go ahead.
and the mountains were not found, and there fell upon men
And their mountains were not what?
found.
So people are going to be leaving the system. But look at verse Isaiah chapter 13, where it talks about, therefore, verse 13, therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall be removed out of her place in the wrath of Ahijah of hosts, in the day of his fierce anger. It shall be as a chased roe, and as a hunted gazelle.
Gazelle.
There shall everyone turn to his own people, and flee everyone to his own land. So there's going to be a mass exodus out of Babylon. The whole plague is for people to live here because they say, I'm going to enter this place. A place of immorality and wickedness and scientific evil. A place of intellectual wickedness, political insurgency. A place of social decadence. The Most High will bring his fire upon this system and take it down. And people are going to be running back to where they come from. The Chinese heading back home. The Arabs heading back home. The European heading back. All our people, now you're going to know who the lost sheep are. People are going to be forced to come together. Once again, the Israelites are going to be compelled to come back together again. And the Gentiles are going to know those are the children of Israel again. Because everything is going to go back to your original race. That's when the nations are going to know where their God is now with them. And they're going to be recognizing us once again. They're going to know that their God is doing all this stuff.
Amen.
And they're going to be looking at us. Where he's judging the nations and destroying the righteous, wicked Israelites and wicked Gentiles, and raising up righteous Gentiles and righteous Israelites. Where Israel get to rule the world in righteousness forever. So finish off what you have, 21.
And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent, and men blasphemed the Most High because of the plague of the hail, for the plagues thereof was exceeding great.
The same hail as you see. Amazing. So now, after the 7 plagues, Babylon is fallen, people are returning back to all their lands, this wicked system is broken. This fake system is broken. This elusive, wicked system is broken. The only hope now is our kingdom. But before our kingdom comes, Christ is going to meet us in the wilderness. So let's show you the wilderness real quick. Ezekiel, Yachezikwa Allah, chapter 20, verse 33 to 38 shows you the wilderness. We're going to be back in the wilderness again, just like we did. After the plagues, when you go back to Exodus, after the Most High performed the plagues, where did we go into? We went to wilderness to serve the Most High. Now the same thing is happening. Right there in Exodus, when he broke down the firstborn of the Egyptians,
And Pharaoh said, okay,
first
all right.
I give up. I give up. So now, why there in Exodus it says, after that he killed the firstborn, Exodus chapter 12 verse 37, it says, and the children of Israel journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 of foot that were men, besides children. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even there, amongst cattle. And when you read the whole thing, you have the Gentiles that are going to be believing in our power. They're going to be with us.
As he did that so
As
he
he
can
did
be
that.
noticed.
Absolutely.
Wow, it's incredible.
It's incredible.
Like, it mirrors
Yes,
each other.
it's a mirror. That's why I say the title of this teaching, as you see, is it is a comparative analysis.
Yes.
You know, Egyptian, the 10 plagues of ancient Egypt versus or comparative to the 7 plagues of Babylon the Great, which is spiritual Egypt. Same thing, no difference. Because the 10 plagues is synonymous, the 7 plagues is synonymous to the 10 plagues. They actually equate even much more in intensity. Because now this one that had a global impact by then, but this one brings in the kingdom forever. Right. Let's show you the wilderness. Yachezikwa Allah, chapter 20, verse 33 to 38. We're rounding up. Pay attention. Pay attention. After this, we're going to head back into the wilderness like we saw. Into the wilderness. Again, read it.
As I live, said Ahaya Alahayim, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out, will I rule over you.
Read that again.
As I live, said Ahaya Alahayim, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out, will I rule over you.
Go ahead.
And I will bring you out from the people.
The Most High will bring us out from the nations again. That's why these plagues are happening. Go ahead.
and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered.
I'm going to gather you from all the four corners of the earth where I have scattered you. Come on.
With a mighty hand,
With a mighty hand,
And with
the
a-
7 plagues,
and with a stretched out arm,
a stretched out arm,
and with fury poured
with
out.
fury, the wrath of fierceness of his wrath poured out.
And I will bring you into the wilderness.
Into the what?
Into the
Into the
wilderness.
what?
Into the wilderness
Wilderness
of the people.
of the people.
And there will I plead with you face to face.
So he's going to deal with us again face to face, like he did before. Read
He
it.
did before. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt.
So this prophecy, this prophecy has now been fulfilled. You see that? He's going to do it again. History repeats itself. Like he did before, he's bringing us back into the wilderness to plead with us. And that's judgment. How's he going to do it?
So will I plead with you, said Ahaya Alahayim, and I will cause you to pass under the rod.
I will pass you to pass under the what?
Under the rod.
The rod of his laws, his commandments. You get to keep the commandments. Come on.
And I will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
The new covenant now, guys, that you have agreement with him. Now we get to keep all his commandments. Letting you know that the law is not done away with, because it's going to rule with the same law. So the grace, yes, this is Ezekiel, actually Ezekiel Allah. See there? Letting you know that the law is not done away with. Come on.
Ezekiel chapter 20 verse 38 now. And I will purge out from among you the rebels.
The what?
The rebels.
What is the meaning of the word rebel? It links to rebellion, which is transgression of the law.
Sin.
The people that are living in sin, when you make it into the wilderness, you may not make it out of the wilderness, because even after the wilderness, there's still yet a long journey into the holy
kingdom.
city.
Because you're
And-
not practicing
Righteousness.
already.
You be after the wilderness, you still have to make it to that great walk into the holy city in Mount Zion, when Christ will meet us when we're in the wilderness. That's when he's breaking through the atmosphere.